Collins running out of real estate. Heads back upfield. 25 to the 30. The 35 to 40. The 45 to 50. He has only Kowalski to beat. Gets through him. The 10 and touchdown for Collins.
Duarte looks to throw. He fires toward the goal line. And that is caught by Kadeem Wilson for a game-winning Gators touchdown.
Back on in, here's Yoxon. Yoxon to the backhand, trying to go to the front, makes the move and shot, and he scores!
Rowan heading for the touchpad with the lead, and the Props will take the men's 400-yard freestyle relay.
He sends one on goal and he scores! Jonah Popre scores for the second time tonight.
And it is a power play goal. The pressure is there. Wilson putting it in the end zone. It is up for grabs. Did someone come down with it? No, incomplete. The Pharaohs are the 2022 EFA champions. Live from the Waranenko Sports Complex in Roselle, New Jersey, PDF Sports Network is proud to welcome you into coverage of Jersey Bearcats Arena football and coverage of the 2023 American Arena League II playoffs. Tonight, in a semifinal matchup that determines who moves on to the championship in 2 weeks, the number 2 seeded Jersey Bearcats at 7-1 take on the number 3 seeded Georgia-Lina Lions, who come in with a record of 4-3. And with approximately 1/2 hour until kickoff, we officially welcome you in to the Brownstone Grill in Metuchen pregame show here on the PDF Sports Network. I'm David Pizzuto alongside Joe Foreman. And Joe, the Bearcats joined the top-seeded Steel City Stampede as semifinal hosts today for playoff football. And like the Stampede, they boast a season-long 7-game winning streak coming into tonight, but they have been idle for an awfully long time, and their opponents tonight is one that is brand new for them, the Georgia-Lina Lions.
As you said, Dave, the Bearcats come in winners of 7 straight games, and that certainly gives them a lot of momentum heading into tonight's matchup. However, there are still 2 big questions to be answered entering this first-round playoff matchup. First, how much has the 3-week layoff resulting from a pair of opponent forfeits affected this Bearcats team? Second, with this being Jersey's first look at the Lions, will Georgia-Lina be able to take advantage of a team that hasn't played since late May? No question the Bearcats are the favorite coming into this matchup, but the long layoff for Jersey and a lack of familiarity with this Lions team could factor into tonight's result.
Absolutely, Joe, and we have a lot to talk about tonight, and coming up we'll hear directly from the Bearcats ownership and go field level for interviews. But we mentioned the unique matchup today, Joe. Georgia-Lina making the trip up to Jersey as a marked underdog, you'd have to think, going into today. With the exception of a last-second collapse on opening night, a game in which they were up by 20 points in the fourth quarter, the Jersey Bearcats have been close to perfect this season. You see it on your screen now. What makes them so good?
What makes the Bearcats so good is that they are a complete team that has proven to be capable of dominating a game on both sides of the ball. On the offensive side, the Bearcats boast a balanced attack and are capable of striking for 6 points on any given play. On the defensive side of the ball, this team has done a tremendous job putting pressure on opposing quarterbacks, shutting down the ground game, and most of all, generating turnovers. Last time we covered this team, we saw the best of the Bearcats on both sides of the ball, nearly 50 points scored with 2 touchdowns coming on defense. The Bearcats hope that they can pick up right where they left off in that game played over 1 month ago against another playoff team in the Maryland Eagles.
Joe, we're going to be asking this question when we get that onto the field directly to the team, but let me ask you, we mentioned the forfeit wins to close the season, mix that in with a couple of normally scheduled byes. The Bearcats team hasn't played in a long time, over a month, as you mentioned. Does that worry you heading into a game of this magnitude?
I think you would obviously prefer to come into this game without the long layoff, but I don't think the extended layoff is a reason for this Bearcats team to be worried. Most of their wins this season have come in very convincing fashion, and if you dig a bit deeper and look at the common opponents between Jersey and Georgia-Lina, you will find that the Bearcats have even more reason to enter this matchup with a great deal of confidence. The Bearcats and Lions each faced the Maryland Warriors twice this season. 2 wins for Jersey in their game, against Maryland, 2 losses for Georgia-Lina against the Warriors. Something to keep in mind as these two teams face off.
Joe, speaking of forfeit wins, the Lions benefited from not 1, not 2, but 3 forfeit wins this season. So they come in with a record of 4-3, that a lot of folks feel comes with a big asterisk and a lot of questions. With their lone win of this on the field coming against the United Firepower this season, the biggest question is, can they beat a team like the Bearcats, and if so, how?
First and foremost, the Lions cannot afford a bad start. As we've seen more than once already, the Bearcats are very capable of jumping out to a 2 or 3 score lead in the opening minutes, and the Lions have to prevent that from happening. However, late in their Week 1 game against the Stampede, the Bearcats were put in a position where the big play was temporarily off the table, and they needed to try and run out the clock in the 4-minute offense. While attempting to do that, a lot went wrong for Jersey. They struggled to complete passes, were called for multiple holding penalties, and ultimately lost a costly fumble that led to the game-winning Steel City touchdown. What it comes down to for the Lions is making Jersey run as many plays as possible by taking away the deep ball. A great way to accomplish that is to force the Bearcats to operate from deep in their own territory when possible. And as we saw in Jersey's last game against the Eagles, pinning the Bearcats' offense at their own goal line could result in some points on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, Joe, and we will certainly be looking for those storylines and more tonight. No matter their records, no matter how much time off they've had, the slates are clean, and one of these teams is going to punch their ticket to the inaugural AAL2 championship game in 2 weeks. We still have plenty more to get to tonight on the Brownstone pregame show. When we come back, we'll go directly down onto the field, talk to our players and coaches, and get you ready for the AAL2 playoff semifinal between the Jersey Bearcats and the Georgia-Lina Lions. Stay with us on your home for the AAL2 and the Jersey Bearcats. This is the PDF Sports Network. Today's game is presented by Total Performance Bodywork with Dave Riemann. Dave is a body worker, licensed massage therapist, and strength and movement coach. He's combined his wide variety of expertise into a system that he calls Total Performance Bodywork. Trusted by professional athletes and bodybuilders, Dave has been helping people to recover from new and old injuries, improve their breathing efficiency, athletic performance, mobility, flexibility, and their overall strength. Visit Total Performance Bodywork at totalperformancebodywork.com or contact Dave by calling 610-570-7480 or email Dave Riemann at rcn.com. Today's broadcast is being sponsored by the U.S. Army, the U.S. Army Junior ROTC, and the Crusaders, a winning combination of enterprise, leadership, innovation, courage, and commitment. Learn more about the U.S. Army and ROTC programs by visiting GoArmy.com and at USArmyJROTC.com. Become a part of our winning team through enrollment, employment, and leadership opportunities. Be all you can be with the Army and Army ROTC. East Coast Trophies and Awards has been serving your awards needs since 1986 and is now a proud sponsor of the PDF Sports Network. From sports-specific trophies and plaques to corporate and business promotions and gifts, East Coast Trophies and Awards is your one-stop shop for all of your crowning achievements, and they always meet the right price. Contact Chris today at 848-223-7071 or visit them at www.eastcoastawards.com. This broadcast is being brought to you by the Three Bleezies Entertainment Group on the Three Bleezies Facebook and Instagram page. Catch the Three Bleezies weekly show, as well as live recordings and all the opinions and the unfiltered hot topics you've come to love about semi-pro. It's the resource for semi-pro football and more, from the official source for all things Bleezy. The Three Bleezies Facebook and Instagram page. Visit and follow now. Mundo, yeah, yeah.
Unique Resin Design specializes in home decor with one-of-a-kind handcrafted resin products, perfect for your home and any place you love. Perfect for gifts and parties, let Imani Green dazzle you with inspirational creations you can get at only one place, Unique Resin Designs. Visit us at uniqueresindesign.com and learn how to get free shipping on your next order.
Lila Keys Photography. To capture the very best memories, let Lila Keys Photography be your answer. For maternity and milestone photos, family portraits, events and graduations. From simple headshots to action-packed sports photography, Lila Keys Photography preserves your greatest moments and achievements. Reach out at lilakeys21@gmail.com or reach out via Instagram at Lila Keys.
Welcome back to the Brownstone pregame show here on the PDF Sports Network. We are closing in on kickoff, and it's time now to go field level here at Warananko. Joe is downstairs with head coach and co-owner of the Bearcats, A.J. Roque, to get his thoughts on the game tonight. Joe, take it away.
Coach, first look at this Lions team so far this season. What do you know about this Georgia-Lina team?
I know they're a solid team. They've been around for 4 years. Original team in the AAL itself. They're just a solid ball club. They've been around for years, so there's experience there. So, we're expected to, be in a dogfight.
It's been almost a month since we've seen you. Your team's picked up a couple of wins since then. Last game came in late May, 2 forfeits by opponents since. How has the layoff affected your team, or has perhaps rested your team a bit and gotten them even more ready for this matchup with the Lions?
Well, yeah, on the healthy side, time off is always good. We had some nagging injuries on some players. Now they're healthy. But as far as not playing, it took a little toll, not going to lie. We practiced for most of the part. I think throughout this whole time we were only off maybe 1 week without practice at all. But when we practiced, we would go Tuesday, Saturday, and we would bang. These guys would bang, and they would argue because they were getting frustrated, go against each other. But now we get to see another color. So, it's time to open the gates.
7 straight wins coming in, 1 win away from the AAL2 championship. What needs to happen today in order for your team to earn a spot in that championship game?
We just got to come out and play our game. Play fast and be physical, and everything else take care of itself. And that's what we're coming here to do. We're just going to play our game, and hopefully it ends up in our favor, which we expect.
Thanks, Coach. Best of luck today. Coming up, Jersey takes on the Georgia-Lina Lions in the semifinals of the AAL2 playoffs. Dave, back up to you.
All right, thanks, Joe. Great job, as always, head coach A.J. Roque, of course, looking for his team to stay sharp despite having, of course, that long layoff. Joe is downstairs now. He's catching up with linebacker Keemon Coleman. Joe, back down to you.
And we're here with Bearcats linebacker Keemon Coleman. Keemon, this defensive unit has been great against the run this season. The linebacking core has been a big part of that. What role has you and the linebacker unit played in stopping the run this year?
Well, we communicate a lot. We hold each other accountable, so we just want to come out with the best possible outcome. That's what we do. We do it each and every day in practice. We hold each other accountable, so that's how I think we're able to do what we do on game day.
Last time we saw your team take the field, 2 touchdowns on defense. Winning the turnover battle has been a key for your team all season long. What has been allowing you to win the turnover battle game in, game out?
I give props to Coach Ja. Coach Ja came in, made a couple adjustments. All the guys bought in, and you see the results. So that's what it really is. I give that props to Coach Ja.
Now, we've heard Coach AJ tell the offense, we want you to get 50 points per game. We've heard that more than once already this season. You've gotten there at least once or twice this year.
Yeah.
The defense, is there a number that you look for, keeping opponents under a certain number?
I really don't like any touchdowns, being a defensive guy myself.
So 0.
0. I'm trying to no touchdowns. No touchdowns, 0.
We're looking for a 0 on defense today. Keemon, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. Best of luck. Dave, back up to you.
Excellent job, Joe. We heard Keemon say it. We heard Joe say it. No touchdowns is the goal today to give up to Georgia-Lina. Of course, Keemon, a big part of that, playing in the middle of everything in that linebacker spot. Joe is downstairs with one more guest, this time joining him on the field. He is now with the star running back of the Bearcats, Nasir Adams. Joe, back down to you.
And we're here with Bearcats running back Nasir Adams. Nasir, this offense has been a big play offense all season long, but something that perhaps isn't talked about enough is the effectiveness of this running game down around the goal line. How key has that been to this offense's success?
I mean, it's been very big for us.
being down on the goal line, it's a place where, it's a big man's game, honestly. So it's not too much space to throw the ball. So that's where I come in. I try to be as effective as possible. Not getting too much run on the outside, but getting down in the red zone when my team needs me.
32 points in week 1, 47 or more, 5 out of 6 games since. What has been the key to the growth of this offense since the start of the season?
Just sticking together, honestly. Most of us are young, and the older guys have been able to help us out a lot. So they've been sticking us together like glue, and our goal is to really just blow guys out the water. Nothing more to it.
1 game away from the championship. What is your role today in making sure that your team gets to that AAL2 championship game?
Keep dominating the big man's game, like I said, down in the red zone. I do that for my team. We're going to be successful.
Dominance in the red zone, something to look for tonight, Dave. Bearcats running back Nasir Adams joining us. Dave, back up to you.
Nasir Adams, such a central part of this offense for the Bearcats, hoping to be a big part yet again tonight. Great job as always, Joe. And when we get Joe back up to the booth, let's cut now to a word from all of our sponsors before getting you closer to kickoff right here on the Brownstone in Metuchen pregame show. We're counting down to Jersey Bearcats football and this, the AAL2 semifinals, right here on the PDF Sports Network.
Burgers are better at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
My weekend starts with the Brownstone burger, topped with cheddar, barbecue sauce, and a fried egg.
Give me the Hawaiian burger. I love the Canadian bacon and sweet pineapple.
How do you like your salads? Shrimp, chicken, beef?
Stop in and see why families are eating good at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
Marinenko Sports Center is the official home of the Jersey Bearcats and is proud to welcome the AAL2. Located at One Park Drive in Roselle, Marinenko is available for parties and rentals, public skating in the winter, and camps and activities each spring and summer. Visit us at waranenkopark.com to learn more about our rink, indoor dining and party area, and all that beautiful Waranenko Park has to offer. waranenkopark.com or call 908-298-7849.
Arena football fans, make sure you keep up with the latest news and information from the AAL and AAL2 all year long at AmericanArenaLeague.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Like, subscribe, and follow all of the AAL2 teams to keep up with the latest league happenings and stay connected. Want to sponsor the AAL and AAL2? Contact us at info@AmericanArenaLeague.com. We'll see you at the arena.
If you plan to do chicken, then do chicken like a champ at Wing It On in Linden. Voted #1 medium wing sauce at the National Buffalo Wing Festival. Wing It On is family owned and operated in Linden, New Jersey, and we have an excellent array of your favorite wings and chicken done to perfection. We have the true flavor of champions at Wing It On. Stop in or order now at wingiton.com or call our store at 908-486-0910.
The Jersey Bearcats would like to thank Von Seals Veggies and Seafood, official food sponsor of the Jersey Bearcats game day. Von Seals Food Truck is available for bookings at vvsfoodtruck@gmail.com, specializing in the most delicious seafood with the freshest of vegetables made to order. Follow Chef Supreme and Von Seals on Facebook to see where we are serving the best plant and pescatarian food near you.
Welcome back to the Waranenko Sports Complex here in Roselle, New Jersey, and the Brownstone Grill and Metuchen pregame show. We are just moments away from kickoff here. David Pizzuto alongside Joe Foreman. And Joe, as we speak, the teams are making their final preparations before kickoff. We might have the national anthem any second from now. If so, we'll break away. But we mentioned it briefly at the top of the show. This is one of two games going on in the AAL2 tonight. The other semifinal pits the top-seeded Stampede at 7-0 going up against the Maryland Eagles. That game is probably coming to an end as we will look to get you a final there when we receive it. But those two teams met only once during the season, Joe. A 16-point win for the Steel City Stampede. What are your thoughts on what you saw from those two teams during the season?
For the first 3.5 quarters of their game against the Bearcats, the Stampede offense really struggled, scoring just twice. However, they have been a different team since the end of that game and have now won 7 straight. We also were just getting our first look at the AAL2 when Jersey faced Steel City, but something that stands out in hindsight is the performance of the Stampede defense in that Week 1 matchup. They held Jersey to a season-low 32 points, and I don't think it was clear at the time what a strong effort that was. As for Maryland, the pick six they threw before halftime against the Bearcats derailed their comeback effort in that game, and Jersey was able to keep them at arm's length the rest of the way. However, they got off to a tough start, allowing a touchdown on the game's first snap and falling behind by 2 scores just over 10 minutes in. Despite that, they did remain within striking distance until throwing a second pick six in the fourth quarter. Turnovers really killed Maryland against the Bearcats, and if they clean up those giveaways, they should absolutely be competitive against whoever they face in the postseason.
Absolutely, Joe. You were able to talk to Coach Roque, the players getting ready on the field. We were able to listen to it. We know what's at stake today. We know how important is it, in your opinion, for these two teams to get off to a good start here tonight?
For the Lions, there may be nothing more important to their success tonight than a good start. They can't afford to do anything like what the Eagles did against the Bearcats, allowing a touchdown on the game's first snap, and they certainly cannot afford early turnovers. As for the Bearcats, I think a good start is more important for them mentally, as it would erase any potential concerns about the long layoff creating problems for them. Also, the team hasn't trailed with time on the clock in any game that we've covered this season, and there's no precedent for how this team will respond if they're forced to play from behind.
Can't have a better intro than that. Our teams are ready. We are ready. There's only one thing left, and that's kickoff, Joe, after our national anthem, which we'll have momentarily. Joe, the Bearcats have a winning streak on the line. We heard these guys say it's all about going 1-0 this week. What are your keys to making sure the Bearcats get out of here with the W?
Jersey's best offense all season has been the deep ball, and that's something I don't expect to see changing tonight. If you're the Bearcats, air it out. In the Bearcats' only loss of the season, a key turnover is what opened the door for Steel City. This defense has been great all season. Don't make their job any harder and protect the football. Lastly, on the defensive side of the ball, the Bearcats have wreaked havoc on the line of scrimmage all season. That pressure has generated turnovers in the secondary, but that isn't possible without winning the battle at the line of scrimmage. So to recap for Jersey, air it out, protect the football, and win the battle at the line of scrimmage.
Absolutely, Joe. And on the other side, the Lions are 4-3. They finished with the number 3 seed with 3 forfeit wins under their belt. A lot to prove here tonight, but they're here, which means they have a shot. What do they have to do, in your mind, to leave New Jersey with the victory?
I've said it more than once already, but the Lions need to get off to a good start, whether that's an early stop, an early score, at the very least, forcing a lengthy Bearcats scoring drive. They can't afford to fall behind by 2 scores in the first quarter, as so many Bearcats opponents have this season. I mentioned the Bearcats will look to air it out. On the other side, Georgia-Lina has to find a way to contain the Bearcats' passing game, particularly the deep ball. On the offensive side, Georgia-Lina needs to protect the quarterback. We've seen Jersey put a lot of pressure on opposing signal callers this season, and that pressure has generated turnovers and negative plays that are very tough to recover from. If you're the Lions tonight, do everything you can to get off to a good start, contain the Bearcats' passing game, and protect the quarterback.
And they'll have to do it against a team that has just been introduced out onto the field. We are closing in at about 6:30. That is our intended kickoff time. We may be starting a couple of minutes late. Of course, we still have to have our national anthem and our coin toss. What Joe and I will do is step aside, take one final break. When we come back, we'll have our final thoughts, and we'll get you the national anthem and kickoff live here from Warananko Sports Center in Roselle, New Jersey. This is coverage of the AAL2 and the Jersey Bearcats, only on the PDF Sports Network.
This broadcast is being brought to you by Pioneer Sports Incorporated, providing quality programs to underserved communities, providing team owners with support and tools to run quality programs. Visit them at pioneersportsinc.com.
or call 609-658-7532. And by DJ Willie Will of Spectra Sunshine Sounds. DJ Willie Will is part of the Spanish Harlem Street Jocks. Contact Willie Flores for the best DJ services at your next event. Call 212-987-4425 or email scbanton40@yahoo.com. And by DG Visuals, photography by Danny Gomez. Call or email today for the DG Visual Experience, one unlike any other. Today's game is being brought to you by Staples, the official office superstore. With multiple locations throughout the tri-state area, Staples has what you need for your office, home, or home office. Visit us at staples.com for the location nearest you. And by Phenom, providing the official ball of the American Arena League and the official outfitting partner of the Jersey Bearcats. Visit phenomelitebrand.com for gotta have apparel and accessories.
Our nation's anthem getting us ready here for kickoff from Warenenko Sports Center in Roselle, New Jersey. The second of two semifinal matches going on in the AAL2. Joe, we're not sure if the Stampede and the Eagles have gone final. The last update we had gotten, Stampede 33, Eagles 14, very late in the fourth quarter. So the Stampede, the number one seed, looks like they are in the process of punching their ticket. They'll await the winner of this game.
And if that is indeed the matchup, Dave, it is only fitting. Those two teams opened our season here on the PDF Sports Network. As we've mentioned already, that was Jersey's opener, a heartbreaking loss as time expired. It looks like they are going to get a chance to avenge that defeat if they can come away with a win here today. That means for us, we're traveling 2 hours away towards Steel City to cover the AAL2 championship. We are awaiting confirmation of a final score in the other semifinals matchup. But Dave, as you mentioned, it was a 19-point game late in the fourth quarter. If we do receive confirmation that that game has gone final, we will pass it along to everyone watching our broadcast of this semifinal matchup between the Bearcats and the Lions.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, checking now to see final score, Joe, we do have it. It's the Steel City Stampede 54 and the Eagles 32. So they scored quite a number of points late in that game, but a 22-point win for Steel City, that books their ticket. They will host one of these two teams in the championship, which is 2 weeks from tonight. We'll, of course, have a start time as we get closer. No matter what, PDF Sports Network's got you covered. We will be there.
That was 6 touchdowns late in the fourth quarter. If that timestamp was accurate on our previous update, that's just a taste of what you can expect in the arena game.
Awesome. So the Steel City Stampede improved to 8-0 this season, no blemishes. And for the Jersey Bearcats, they will look to join them on an 8-game win streak because after they lost that game to the Stampede, they've played one more game than the Stampede have this season. 2 of those victories by way of forfeit, first time they're here and in this building since May 20th. And, you know, Joe, that's been the elephant in the room. It's been the elements that are going on social media is just these long layoffs. You said it clear as day. You mentioned it to A.J. Roque. And, of course, these first 5 minutes or so of this game going to really say a lot about the rust factor or whether this team is just teaming to get out there and put up some points.
Well, there's no question the Bearcats are well rested coming in. The last time we covered them is the last time they played. That was all the way back on May 20th, a scheduled bye, and then 2 wins by forfeit, followed by a week off before this opening round playoff matchup. So the Bearcats have had plenty of time to prepare. the Lions have also been involved in a number of forfeits this season. They've only had so many reps of game action this year, so that's something else that could factor into tonight's result. Of course, you'd like to play more games if you're these two teams, but they get an opportunity to go at one another here tonight with a chance to punch their ticket to the AAL2 championship.
And Joe, how about this? You know, everybody thinks the first play of the game is the kickoff. How about the first play of the game being the coin toss? Georgia-Lina wins the toss. They elect to kick it to the Bearcats and defer. So how's that for the first setup of this game?
Well, I think if you're the Lions, you can really set the tone with a stop on the first drive. Of course, there's always the risk of the Bearcats putting the ball in the air, going deep, and striking for that first score. If you're the Lions, you can ensure that doesn't happen if you play some blanket coverage over the top and allow them to complete passes underneath. I said it before, if you're the Lions, you want to make Jersey run as many plays as possible on the offensive side, because those are the instances where we've seen the Bearcats struggle, and we haven't seen them struggle much this season, Dave.
Right, absolutely. And like you mentioned during pregame, Joe, they are the masters of the one-play touchdown drive. They love to go over top and take the top off defenses. We'll see what they have planned here on this drive. Lane Phillips will be set to kick it off from his own goal line, skied high. It does hit the facade, and whistles blow as that one touchdown at about the 12-yard line, but they are going to spot it at the 23 because that's where it hit the upper netting. So Georgia-Lina opts to go and elevate the ball, Joe, on the kickoff. We've seen a lot of teams go for the line drives here.
We've spoken about it several times already this season. The roof is low, especially down near the end zones. To hit the roof around midfield is a bit tougher to do, and that's where that ball did make contact with the netting over the top of the Waranenko Sports Center. So the ball is spotted just a couple of yards shy of midfield, though they are going to move it back to, it appears, the 20. So the officials are discussing that right now, and the ball will indeed be spotted at the 20-yard line.
So either way, good starting field position for the Jersey Bearcats, who will operate with Stephen Colon, most likely in the shotgun, as I don't believe we've seen him under center at all this season. Kyle Ward, of course, very dangerous. Nasir Adams, who Joe spoke to in the opening, out this time flanked to the right, tucking just outside of Justin Gowan. Looks like the running start will be Pete Savridis. Indeed, a running start. Cologne looks to go left, has to opt over the middle, but that was overthrown in the direction of Ward, incomplete.
And you could see when the Bearcats snapped that ball, Dave, the Lions were not going to allow them to throw over the top, and that's the right approach. It's what I mentioned during my keys to the game. If you're Georgia-Lina, you cannot get beat by the deep ball early. They forced Stephen Colon to make a throw from a collapsing pocket. There was some pressure there coming in on the Bearcats quarterback, and he misfired. His receiver was open, but with a collapsing pocket, that throw was just a bit off the mark.
Perhaps Georgia-Lina has you mic'd up, Joe, and we're listening to your pregame tips.
They call me Joe Stradamus for a reason.
Here we go, 2nd down and 10. This time Adams to Cologne's left. Looks like Ward will get the running start this time from the inside of your screen. Indeed he does. That snap is low. Cologne bobbles it and hits Savridis out in the flat about midfield. Looks like he got halfway to the first down. It'll be 3rd and 5.
That was a good defensive play on that last snap by Braden Davis, immediately charging down toward the receiver, did not allow any yards after that catch. It's a gain of 5. That will set up a 3rd and 5 and a chance for Georgia-Lina to force an early 4th down snap for the Bearcats with a stop here on 3rd.
So here we go, big play. The Bearcats get in and out of their huddle pretty quickly here, know exactly what they want to do. It'll once again be Kyle Ward, the motion man, on the near side. Owens is out wide to the right. Another bad snap that goes low. Cologne looking towards the middle of the field, and the catch is made. 1st down inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal.
And Savridis makes a big reception right there on 3rd down and 5. That ball out in front of him where only he could catch it, but he was forced to dive after that football. The defense protecting against the ball over the top, and right there Cologne drops it over the linebacker in front of the defensive back.
Now the give underneath to Nasir Adams, tries to get it out wide, gets past one defender, a second, and is in for the score.
And we spoke about it with Nasir during the pregame, Dave. How good has this Bearcats running game been down around the goal line? dominance around the goal line was a key for Nasir Adams. He spoke to us about it during our conversation with him during the pregame. He's fired up, and the Bearcats are on the board first.
Officially a 9-yard run for Nasir Adams, where he made not one but 2 miss on that play. Got to look at that critical third down that set up that 1st and goal. And now Anthony Storego will look to make it a 7-point game with just over 12 minutes to go. So a 3-minute drive for the Bearcats. After the Lions elect to defer, that one is just inside the upright and is good for the extra point. So it'll be 7-0 in favor of the Bearcats. So first decision of the game to kick the ball off to the Bearcats, and they score on their opening drive. Get a look at the would-be tackler on the play. Tashawn Deal had the first opportunity. We saw Kendall Jackson have an opportunity as well. That was a good freeze frame there, Joe, as we got a chance to see Deal miss the tackle.
And that was a big missed tackle, as you saw in the backfield. That gave Adams the chance to take it in for the touchdown and get Jersey on the board. And after it looked like the Lions might have a chance to force an early 4th down, a big completion thanks to the diving catch by Savridis. And the Bearcats get on the board.
Now, one thing that we didn't see during the regular season that we see now is that the clock has been stopped at 11:55. So maybe that is something we should pay attention to as well. End over end kick is fumbled around at about the 5-yard line. Getting out of trouble, but not past the 10 are the Lions. I believe that was Quay Horton who tried to have the return. It was either that or Ja'Cory Reeves. I believe that it was Reeves number 6, not number 8. And so with 11 and a half minutes to go, the Lions will play deep in their own end.
Well, I mentioned forcing the Bearcats to start in their own territory up against the goal line was something the Lions would look to do. This is not the start that Georgia-Lina was looking for. Trouble scooping up that kickoff and taken down inside his own 10-yard line was the return man now. Number 6 on our roster is Ja'Cory Reeves. I did not believe it said Reeves on the back of that uniform.
Oh, we'll have to
double
pay
check.
attention to that. He's on the bench now,
okay.
So we'll get a look at it. Looks like out of the shotgun will operate Corey Wallace. Running back to his right now. It's a direct snap to Jackson. Jackson goes right side and is hammered into the boards, shy of the 10-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and long.
So that wasn't Ja'Cory Reeves, Dave. We don't have a number 6 Worthen on our roster, but the name on the back of that jersey is Worthen.
Okay. Make a note of that on our rosters. So we'll have a 2nd down and about 9 on the play. The original line of scrimmage was, I believe, the 6. This ball spotted at the 7. Running start, now middle of the field, open, but they go to the sideline. That is incomplete, as playing it off the boards was Joshua Vaughn. Palmer was there to break it up as well.
Tight window on that throw, but that ball was placed where only Vaughn could catch it. Not a bad throw by Corey Wallace. Unfortunately for the Lions, Vaughn couldn't get his hands on it before it contacted the boards.
Corey Coppin was the wide receiver in motion on the play, and he was actually pretty open in the middle of the field. But they're going to need a big chunk here on 3rd down and 9, as we are under 10 minutes to play here, first quarter. First drive of the game for the Lions. Wallace out of the shotgun. Nobody in motion this time. The fake handoff, and now the look on the opposite side of the field, just past Stokes, who had to elevate to try and get that one. Really 4th down.
And it's not often you see a play designed with the quarterback rolling to his right and the intended target moving up the left sideline. But that is exactly what the Lions drew up, and it looks like it worked. They had the Jersey defense fooled. Stokes was open. That pass just a bit overthrown. A really tough chance there for Wallace at quarterback off his back foot, and that will set up a 4th down and long for Georgia-Lina early in this game.
So here we go. Big play early here for both sides. Georgia-Lina, 4th down and 9. Wallace out of the shotgun, may look to take off, goes across the field, nobody home. He was not on the same page with Coppin, the intended receiver, and the Bearcats will take over, Joe, 1st and goal.
2 consecutive snaps where the Lions signal caller was forced to throw on the move. That is in part a product of the moving pocket on those last 2 snaps, and that, I think, is a counter to the interior pressure that is created by this Bearcats defensive line. There was room there for Wallace. He had time to set his feet ahead of that throw, and you said it, he and Coppin not on the same page. He expected Coppin to sit down. Coppin continued toward the glass, and that resulted in the incomplete pass.
First and goal from the 7 officially for the Bearcats, up already 7-0. Joe mentioned it during pregame. This is a team that is used to getting up by a couple of scores early in games. We've seen them up by as many as 3 scores in the first quarter at times this season. And then they've been able to sail away to a few big wins. Looking to insert another sharp dagger into this Lions defense here on the short field. Stack formation to the left of Cologne. That snap is perfect. And they look in the flat to Owens. Owens straight ahead for the score.
And Dave, that's not the first time we've seen that play this season. Screen pass on the goal line, another weapon in the arsenal of this Jersey Bearcats offense. We have seen that play on 2-point tries throughout the season. Here the Bearcats break it out on first down up against the Georgia-Lina goal line. That was a goal-to-go situation from about the 5, and that's an easy touchdown for Dante Owens.
Great look, and you know what? Great pass, great catch, but great blocking down the field as well, setting up as Owens was basically untouched for the score as Storego comes in to try and put another point on the board and make it 14-point game. Storego has been good this season, has won a Special Teams Player of the Week honor as well. There's a direct snap to Savardis. Savardis was looking to punch it in for the 2-point conversion. It was a designed fake, but it's not going to be good.
Well, Dave, I'll tell you, when the Bearcats were moving off of the field following that touchdown, I thought I saw a signal that they were going to go for 2 to their bench. And when you said Storego was out there, I did a double take. I was like, really? Because I thought they signaled to their bench they were going for 2, and indeed they did. I'm not sure if they wanted to signal it that way, but perhaps they did and thought they would catch Georgia-Lina off guard. Good job by the Lions defensively.
And it was interesting, Joe, on that replay, Steph Cologne looked like he was surprised at not getting the snap, Joe. Like, look to me, his body language on that last snap just looked like he wasn't on the same page there. Guys, can you stop that? So here we go, a 2-touchdown lead. And that one hits an up man, but it's taken well by number 25, Lane Phillips. And looks like the Lions are going to have it first and goal the other way, Joe.
Well, that worked out well for Georgia-Lina. Things could have turned out much worse if that ball was batted back toward Jersey. Fortunately, off the fingertips of Phillips, he was able to knock it straight down and ultimately recover it. Made a man miss as well and took it down to the 10-yard line.
It's a heads-up play by Phillips, Joe, because if he's automatically turning his back and going, ready to block somebody, that might hit him in the back, and that could be Bearcats' ball. Maybe that's what they were intending. Who knows?
You spoke about it. Line drive kicks. That was a screamer at Phillips.
All right, so it's not first and goal, Joe. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 11. Corey Wallace once again will work out of the shotgun, and it is Coppin in motion. He's looking in that direction, but they look out into the flat. It'll be incomplete. Looked like it was off the hands of Stokes.
That's the second time we've seen the Lions try to work the sideline on first down, and the second time that they've had to fit the ball into a tight window. Both passes ultimately fell incomplete.
So 2nd down and 10 now as Georgia-Lina looking, of course, for their first yardage of the game via the pass. They got 1 yard on a run on first down on their first drive. Other than that, it's been incomplete, 4 of them in a row. Wallace this time with Stokes in motion. Looking in that direction across the middle of the field. That one's almost intercepted. It went off the shoulder pads of Sadiq Palmer.
Time and time again, we have seen this Bearcats secondary make plays. Last time we covered this Jersey team, they had a pick 6. They also had an acrobatic diving interception on an over-the-shoulder grab in the secondary. Right here, Palmer almost came up with another one.
And with time to throw on that was Wallace, but at the very end he got a hit put on him, and he's now walking gingerly to his own bench, and it looks like his right hand, Joe, maybe as he was coming forward, as we're going to see a timeout here by the Lions. I think as he was coming forward with that, Joe, he might have bashed his right hand against the helmet of one of the Bearcats, and he's actually coming on the bench. So it looks like they're going to bring in a substitution for Wallace, who's right now worried about his right hand.
And there was a lot of zip on that football. He tried to squeeze it into a tight window along the glass in the back of the end zone. And two Bearcats converged on that football that had chances to come up with the INT. And it looks like it's going to be Savon Stokes taking over at quarterback.
So Stokes goes from receiver to quarterback for the Lions, who are 0 for 5 right now from the air. That throw is in the corner and is off the glass, incomplete. And we're going to have a 4th down coming up.
And once again, there was a window for a completion on that play, and we've seen that more than once already. Unfortunately for the Lions, the pressure caused by this defensive front for Jersey has forced the quarterbacks to throw off balance on the move, and it's rare that these signal callers, the two that have entered the game so far for Georgia-Lina, have been able to throw out of a clean pocket.
So on 4th down and 10, they can conceivably get a 1st down without scoring, but it's end zone or bust, you would think, on a play like this. Stokes still in the game, Coppin in motion. Stokes looking left. He lost his footing and is taken down. I believe the tackle will be credited to Javon Young, who is wearing number 13 tonight. The Bearcats take over on downs.
And the Bearcats win the battle up front once again. That forced the quarterback to step forward there. Stokes was looking down the field. Obviously, they needed 1st down yardage on this play, had his eyes down the field. Pressure comes immediately off both edges, and when he tried to step up through that collapsing pocket, he lost his footing. Credit Javon Young with the sack, perhaps a half a sack on that play, as 2 ends for the Bearcats collapsing into the backfield. Jersey now has it with just under 5 minutes to play in this first quarter and a chance to make this a 3-score game.
They're on their own 18, and that time Stokes' back foot just betrayed him as he just slid down, could not regroup in time, and Javon Young gets the easy sack on the play. You had talked about it, of course, with Keemon Coleman during the pregame, Joe, about how stout this defense has been in recent weeks. And the Lions are 0 for 2, and they've yet to complete a pass in this first quarter. Approaching 4 minutes to go as once again the clock is stopped in between possessions. Cologne back to pass. Little bit of late pressure emerging. Cologne is going to go down the field in the corner and is caught by Savridis. And is he in for the score? He is. Touchdown with a flag down.
And that was some grab by Savridis. The question is, will it stand? It will not. Holding on the offense.
Yeah, and that play took a long time to develop, and you could see, yep, they're in the backfield. Good point out, Joe, on that one. But great job by Savridis to go up and get that one. Takes away what would have been a 33-yard touchdown.
And I said it before kickoff, Dave. We haven't seen the Bearcats struggle much at all this season. Really, they had a couple of bad minutes at the end of their opener, and that's it. But what caused that collapse against Steel City in large part was holding penalties. If you force them to run a lot of plays, every once in a while you're going to get one of those holding penalties that might move them back and give your defense a chance to get off the field. And right now, the Lions need that desperately, trailing by 2 scores.
And the Bearcats, of course, not betraying who they are, Joe. You know, Stephen Cologne could have easily taken that, maybe run for 5 or 6 yards, taken a step out of bounds, or just slid down after a short game, but he wanted the home run all the way and stayed with it. Unfortunately, of course, victims of the holding call, as they'll be backed up now to their own 13. So it'll be a 1st and 15 on this one. In motion is Owens. Once again, another snap that skips in on Cologne, and his hand got hit as he let it go. That'll drop incomplete.
And that was very dangerous. First, the snap, obviously, which skipped into Cologne, but then he tried to heave it down the field under pressure. Fortunately for Jersey, that ball fell incomplete into no man's land, as you'll see here on this replay. And tough to tell what went wrong on that snap, but you said it, Dave. Contact with the arm of Cologne on that pass, forcing the incompletion, and that will set up second and long.
Joe, that's the third time that a snap has skipped in on Cologne, has actually not made it into his hands, that Cologne has had to pick up from the turf. Now, I'm not sure if there's a new center underneath for the Jersey Bearcats. Certainly doesn't seem that way, as Claude Jones-Jules, of course, joined the Bearcats a little bit later in the season and perhaps not used to playing at the center position. That snap is a good one, and the give underneath to Savridis. He fumbles it, tries to get back on it, and does after a minimal gain. Now, there was a flag down as well on this play.
And that's going to be against the defense. It's an offside penalty against Georgia-Lina, so that will give this Jersey offense 5 yards. But that was a well-designed play. Savridis, if he cut that inside rather than outside, may have had a chance one-on-one against the defensive back. And by bouncing it outside, he also gave the end a chance to strip the football away. Fortunately for Jersey, they got it back. However, that point moot with the offsides.
So I'm wondering, Joe, about this down marker, because it says second down on it. Oh, yeah, right, because of the incomplete on first all the way down.
Holding.
Yep, absolutely. So the holding on first down, of course, made it a 1st and 15, then the incompletion. And now, of course, from the original line of scrimmage, it'll be 2nd down and 10. Getting the running start will be Owens, all the way on the far side of your screen. Cologne looks in the flat, over the outstretched hands of the defender, and Savridis makes the catch. Gorgeous throw by Cologne.
And that was a dot by Stefan Cologne. He put that ball just high enough to get it over the outstretched arms of Lane Phillips. You'll get a second look at it right here.
Cologne, once again, very patient. Beautiful throw, and that'll be the end of the first quarter. So we are done. 15 minutes complete. The Bearcats 13 and the Lions nothing. Stay with us. This is the A8L2 playoffs on PDF Sports Network.
Today's game is being brought to you by Staples, the official office superstore. With multiple locations throughout the tri-state area, Staples has what you need for your office, home, or home office. Visit us at staples.com for the location nearest you. And by Phenom, providing the official ball of the American Arena League and the official outfitting partner of the Jersey Bearcats. Visit phenomelitebrand.com for gotta have apparel and accessories.
We are back here getting set for the second quarter. Should mention that official time is being kept on the field. We do have a clock, of course, on our scoreboard. We're doing the best we can, of course, to make sure that we're on par with that. But, of course, when stoppages occur, we might not get to all of them. But either way, we'll be in the ballpark. And the Bearcats have a 1st down and 10 from the Lions' 20-yard line, up by 2 scores already. Throw in the flat to Ward, his first touch of the game, and he goes for about 10 yards, close to a 1st down. And it looks like it'll be just short, Joe.
And we've seen it throughout the first 15 minutes of this game. The Lions have tried to take away the deep ball. The Bearcats have very quickly adjusted. We saw that well-executed screen pass on the goal line. Of course, the deep ball not on the table there, but to open this drive from just inside of midfield, quick swing pass out to the flat, easy completion. Ward takes it up the sideline for a nice gain, setting up a 2nd down and short.
Yeah, when you're paying attention to those downfield receivers, of course, that leaves the underneath pretty open, and the Bearcats are just so multi-dimensional in that respect, as they can work from the line of scrimmage just as easily as down the field. Lions need a big stop here. Right now it's 2nd and 2 from the 12-yard line. 1st down will put them in a goal-to-go situation. Owens in motion from the right side. They'll look in that direction. Owens across the middle, and he makes the catch for the touchdown.
Perfect ball by Stephen Colon. Strong hands by Dante Owens. He makes the contested touchdown grab on the post over the middle. As soon as Jersey went short on first down, that opened up a look down the field on second down. And right now, the Lions don't have an answer for this Jersey passing game.
Yeah, absolutely. And Owens was in motion the whole way, got a great running start. The coverage was not bad either. It's just Stephen Colon with a gorgeous pass, and Owens, the ability to see it all the way through to the ground, gets another 6 on the board. It's now 19-0 with the extra point forthcoming. Now the Bearcats did fake their last one with a direct snap to Savridis. Colon will do the holding here for Storego. Snap is down. Storego's kick is blocked. That ball is still live. At least we thought it was. Picked up by the Lions. No return. And everybody protesting that should not be the case, as players take a moment or two to get separated. Either way, the Bearcats fail to get a point after for the second time in this one. The score remains 19-0.
We saw earlier in the season an interception on a 2-point try, and they blew the play dead before there could be a run back. That play was blown dead as soon as that kick was blocked. And we had a protest in the previous situation as well.
And they are discussing it now. Not much you can do at this point, but for later in the game, could be important. Obviously could be important in our championship game as well. The clock has stopped with 13:02 remaining, and that is something else we have not seen to this point in the arena game, as usually we do have the running clock throughout the game.
And it was a point I made during the prior game when they were discussing that run back on the 2-point try. The clock ran for about a minute or two while they tried to sort that play out. And at the time, that result was still in the balance, hanging in the balance late in that game. So those are valuable seconds that came off the clock. That did not occur here.
Yeah, that opening game of the season, too, when the Stampede tried for an onside kick, and there was a lot of deliberation on where the spot of the ball was. About 3 or 4 minutes went off the clock that time. Either way, 13:02 remaining. Second quarter, the Bearcats are 3 for 3 on offensive possessions. They lead by a monster score of 19-0 early, and the Lions are going to need something here in a positive direction. End-over-end kick is fielded at the goal line by Worthen. Worthen makes one man miss, but is promptly put down at the 15, call it the 16-yard line by Puzo.
Kyle Ward was in there as well, and that was a good job by Jersey on special teams. It looked like there might be something brewing for the Lions on this return, as we'll see here on the replay. Once Worthen planted his foot and made his move toward the far side up the field right there, if Ward doesn't make that tackle, he could be gone on that play.
Yeah, and Sadiq Nathaniel got in there and kind of tripped him up. Didn't make the final tackle, but nice play by Sadiq on that play as well.
Sadiq Nathaniel, of course, had a pick 6 last time we covered this Jersey team.
1 of 2 for the Bearcats last time we saw them in action, as Joe mentioned during pregame. Corey Wallace is back in the game. The give was underneath, but nothing doing, as nowhere to go for Levante Jackson. He's lucky maybe to get back to the line of scrimmage, but I think he lost one.
And Jackson was still fighting well after the whistle. They never actually took him down, but his forward progress was stopped. And the running game on early downs just hasn't been there so far for the Lions. And you can see, if you look closely, Dave, the hand of Corey Wallace heavily bandaged. There's a good look at it from our camera operator, Louis Matrone.
And that is his throwing hand. In case you're wondering, that throw is lofted underneath and easily intercepted. Devin Butcher will take it to about the 10-yard line. The Bearcats will take over, and now big pushing and shoving as helmets fly off, flags everywhere. Teams will need to get separated here. I believe Butcher might have put the football in the Lions' bench, but he was looking to get out of there, Joe, it looked like, and there was just some extracurriculars. We'll get another look at it, but Butcher was basically playing center field, and that was an easy pick. And you could see he's out of the play. He's given up. And, of course, we left it there, but the players have separated. We'll have multiple penalties here. Nasir Adams still jawing after.
Well, I was trying to get a look and see what perhaps instigated that back and forth. And, of course, there has to be some frustration on the part of the Lions as well, given the fact that they're now down 3 scores and just gave the ball back to the Bearcats. And we'll see if anything comes of this. If there are ejections in this spot, that could weigh heavily on this game moving forward.
Now, there were helmets that were physically removed, which means that there was a lot of face grabbing or face mask grabbing there, and see how they ultimately decide to work this out. But I'm agreeing with you, Joe. I think the biggest part of this is the potential ejections that might happen, not necessarily the yardage at this point. It's probably all going to even out anyway.
I don't see how they could determine whether or not they offset. There were so many players involved there that there's really no way to tell unless you had an official break out a notepad and start writing down numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. And they were really bunched up in there, really right in front of the bench for the Lions. So a lot of white jerseys in that area, and the Bearcats, it looked like Butcher was trying to get out of the area, Joe. I mean, it didn't look like he was instigating that. And
we saw nothing on the replay.
Yep. But in live action, that kind of happened in front of us as well. We were kind of lucky. It's right to the left of us, but here is the infractions. Personal foul against the Bearcats. Personal unsportsmanlike unsportsmanlike against the Lions. The penalties have offset. There are no ejections or player disqualifications, although we're not sure which numbers earned those personal fouls, so a second there would probably end their night.
Now, the official's sure who it was. There were a lot of bodies in there.
Yeah.
And I can't blame them for not wanting to get in the middle of that and figure it out.
Right. But you know what, Joe? Good job by both teams to at least separate. Obviously, there was a lot of pushing and shoving and talking that was going on. But at the end of the day, both teams did the right thing and peeled themselves off of one another and get ready to play some football. It's 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line for the Bearcats.
And you know who did get in the middle of that? Stephen Colon. He was trying to break things up, keeping the two sides separated. That's a great thing he did there, but I'm not sure if you want your quarterback to be the one in the middle of that pile.
Good point. And we saw the effects, perhaps, Joe, of the heavily taped hand of Corey Wallace. That pass had no chance.
No.
And the Lions, I don't believe, have completed a pass in this game, and now an interception. The Lions traveling all the way here from Georgia. A long trip. They were in town last night, I believe, stayed over. Might be staying over tonight and enjoying perhaps another night here in Jersey before they get back to the Carolinas and the Georgia area. But down by 19 and needing a stop. Puzo this time in motion, looking corner of the end zone, and it was perhaps broken up, but Puzo could not stay with it. Pass looked like it was there.
That was Keldrick Wright on the coverage, closing in at the last moment. I don't think he got a hand on the football, but it appeared he did get a hand on Puzo's arm. That might have helped dislodge that football. We'll see here. But good timing on that throw, and I think he did get a piece of the arm, which caused the ball to come loose. Good play in the defensive backfield by Wright.
Yeah, nice job by Wright that time, kind of clawing away at the arm of Puzo there, who still in the game and will be the motion man on this play. Slot, far side. Once again, they go to him again, and that one almost picked off. Puzo, I think, stumbled on the play, but either way, not in harmony with Colon, as Colon kind of went underneath there, and Wright drops a surefire interception.
Well, Dave, they ran the same exact play and thought that they would get Wright again. I thought that Puzo was going to run a double move to the inside. Wright immediately jumped that out cut, and he had an interception go straight through his hands. You can't ask for a much better opportunity than that.
So now 3rd down and 10 from the 12 as Wright makes consecutive good plays, although probably kicking himself for not catching that one and perhaps even going the other way.
I think that was 6, Dave.
With a lot of green, yeah. Good point. Cologne, this time with Owens in motion. That one gets away from Cologne, and is he going to get bottled up? No, steps away, looking opposite side to Puzo. Puzo got absolutely drilled, but he hangs on at about the 6.
And that is short of a 1st down. That was a long completion in the air, but that nets, I believe, about 6 yards. So that will set up a 4th down, and Georgia-Lina had to have that tackle on Cologne. They absolutely have to have this stop on 4th down.
Yeah, and another missed tackle, but a nice job by Cologne, not only to get away, but then throw it across his body and across the field to Puzo, and Puzo made a great catch and got absolutely popped. Now, the ball is spotted just outside the 5, and the first down marker's at the 2, Joe. So it's a 4th down and 3 officially, and the Bearcats can score a first down without scoring a touchdown, as we do have a whistle, and it will fix the boards.
Well, Dave, just about anything is open here. If you're the Bearcats, you can go to anywhere in the playbook in this spot outside of one of those deep balls, of course, but they have the screen, the running game, the short passing game, and enough room where they could comfortably throw for the end zone.
So here we go. Lots of tools in the arsenal on this one. Savridis in motion, bunch formation left side. They go up in the middle, but it was incomplete to Justin Gowan. Just off of his fingertips. Gowan would have had to make a really nice catch, but it was a turnover on downs.
Well, Dave, pre-snap, I thought for sure they were tossing that football to Kyle Ward. Then, when the play developed, I thought for sure Cologne would throw it to Kyle Ward. He was wide open, unaccounted for in coverage. On that play, the Lions sent 4. They did have a defender waiting near the goal line. I believe that was number 54, Ronald Black. He was in no position to make a tackle on Ward, short of a first down. Ward likely takes it in for a touchdown. A rare miscue on offense for the Bearcats, and the Lions get it back. If they could score here and potentially go into halftime down just 2 scores, that puts them right back in this game.
At some point, I wonder if we could see that replay again at some point, as that one is thrown underneath but incomplete. I just wanted to see if Cologne got a really good snap on that and was really able to corral it in his hands, because he's misfired on a couple of passes in this one, Joe, and you kind of wonder if maybe the snaps are bothering him a little bit. Just curious on it.
We're going to get a second look at it right here.
And we'll see if it hits him in the hands, and he's not expecting, because the pass itself in the middle of the field was not a good one. No, that's a perfect snap, and yeah, you could tell Cologne really kind of misfired there. You want to put that right in the big man's numbers, and went a little bit high and wide with it.
They definitely caught me by surprise with that play call, going to the eligible guard.
And now we'll have a design to run from the backfield, heavy hitting, and down at about the 17 on the play, as we have extracurriculars as Stokes once again came back in. I thought that was Stokes out of the shotgun, Joe, as Wallace was chased from the game, of course, with that injury.
Now, earlier in the season, the Bearcats faced another running quarterback in Christopher Johnson. That was a few weeks back now, but they did have some problems slowing down the run game from the quarterback position. If that is in the arsenal of the Lions moving forward in this game, that could be big for them toward getting back in this one. And if you're the Bearcats, you cannot afford to commit a personal foul on that play. That's a 15-yard penalty, and just like that, it looks like the Lions will move just outside of the red zone.
Yeah, so outside the 20 to 21-yard line, Stokes once again the quarterback of record after Corey Wallace suffered a right hand injury. Stokes looking right side, and that one skips down right in front of Price, who was playing underneath. Lions still have not completed a pass in this game.
And Dave, Wallace is still in the game, but he is at wide receiver now. You see him on your screen in the middle of that huddle for the Lions. And is it the red zone in Arena at the 20-yard line? Is the 10 the red zone instead?
It's a good question.
I think it's the 10.
Would make sense. Half the field, half the distance than the normal red zone.
Like to make our viewers think.
There we go. Coppin is in motion. The fake throw, and now the throw in the flat. That one is incomplete. First time intended receiver was Vaughn on the play. Slow to get up are one of the Lions at the line of scrimmage. There is a timeout on the field, or perhaps a flag, not sure, as they want to get together here, the officials do.
Well, that was Quentin Howard who went down on that play, and you'll see it here on the replay. That pocket collapses very quickly on Stokes. However, if he had time, look in the end zone. Levante Jackson wide open, and I mentioned it during my keys to the game for Georgia-Lina, protect the quarterback. And in that instance, if Stokes just had another second, he could have found a man open down the field.
Yep. But it makes such a difference when you have your backup quarterback in the game and there's so much pressure. It's almost like anything 10, 15 yards down the field is kind of off the table. Stokes, of course, has to also see in front of those big linemen in front of him. He is not that tall either in the back of that pocket. 3rd down and 10 coming up for Georgia-Lina. It is Wallace in motion. Up at the top of your screen, there's nothing there. And so Stokes now looking in the back of the end zone, and that's off the glass. Too high in the direction of Vaughn.
Was it too high? I thought there was a chance there, Dave.
I did too, but it just banged right off the glass. Maybe we'll see another look at it.
And Vaughn has some size.
And not sure if maybe Vaughn might not have known where he was because.
Oh, yeah, there was a chance, Dave.
It was.
That was a perfect ball.
Yeah, nobody else could have caught it but Vaughn, put it that way. And it'll be 4th down and 10. The Lions, who only have the 1 first down so far in this one, with 5 minutes to go, could put a little bit of a wrench in this one before halftime. Down by 3 scores. This time they look middle of the field, and that one is behind and incomplete. Intended receiver was Corey Coppin, and again, Coppin looked like he might have had a step there and maybe some room to run. The pass just wasn't there.
The pass just a bit off target as Coppin sat down on that route right in the middle of the field. That was a good route. He got open. As you'll see here on the replay, he was wide open.
Yep. Now, obviously, if he catches that, Sadiq Palmer's waiting for him with open arms, but just unable to make that catch no matter what. So the Bearcats will have the ball. 1st and 10 at their own 21-yard line. They are 3 for 4 on their drives today. They were held up on downs the last time they had the ball. So far, Dante Owens has had a couple of scores here for the Bearcats. The only 2 touchdown throws from Cologne. We saw Nasir Adams take one in from 9 yards to start the scoring.
Well, I think the story of this first half, if you're the Lions, is what could be if it were not for a couple of misfires in the passing game. There have been some opportunities with open receivers that have gone by the wayside. If those go the other way, this could be a very different game.
And we'll see how the momentum fares on the defensive side after holding the Bearcats off the scoreboard after they took over 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line last time. Cologne. It's like nobody in motion for this one. Now here comes Ward. The give underneath. Ward bobbled it at first. Manages to get the edge, but he's put down after a gain of 1, and now a late hit. Late hit that time by Quay Horton. And no flag, Joe.
I'm mildly surprised, but there wasn't a very emphatic whistle. 1 whistle blew. There were not repetitive whistles ending that play. Now, going back to that play call, Dave, that is a high-risk play call in that spot, especially leading by 19. The Lions do get the ball to start the second half, but if the Lions were to score 6 before halftime, that changes the complexion of this game completely. If Jersey scores next, they have to feel really good about where they are. That would put them ahead by 4 scores, and it might put this game out of reach.
And with the clock stopping with everything inside of 1 minute to go, still some time to go here as we approach just under 4 minutes. Ward in motion. Slot near side. They go on the opposite side, and that one gets held up in the netting up top. Savridis was in a foot race the other way with Worthen.
That was great coverage by Worthen. You have to keep in mind here at Waranenko, if you give up just 1 step to a wide receiver along the sideline, that is not the worst thing, because down around the goal line, the ceiling is very low. You cannot put a lot of air on the ball down the field, and if you force the quarterback to throw a line drive in that spot in man-to-man coverage, that sets you up for an interception as a defensive back, and I don't think there was anywhere for Cologne to put that ball, even though his receiver did have 1 step on the defensive back, Worthen.
Yeah, we're going to have a chance to see a different AAL2 venue in 2 weeks, Joe. But, you know, venues really play a huge part in these games because you have some where it's fully open and that is not an issue, and that brings the kicking game into effect too, with the Uno, of course, in play, and that's not the case here in Waranenko, which is a gorgeous facility, but maybe with that exception. Nasir Adams goes up and gets that one off the screen, or a delayed screen, and he'll get close to the first down, about fourth and about 3 yards.
Big tackle by Kendall Jackson on that play. He and Adams collided along the near side. There you see it. And Adams, not an easy man to take down. You saw him standing next to me earlier.
Yeah.
Not a small running back.
No, absolutely not.
Well over 6 feet tall.
And it had to extend all the way up to get that one, and was very lucky he didn't get kind of speared in the back, as he was able to kind of come down with it first and power ahead for a couple of yards rather than get taken backwards. But here it is, another big fourth down, just over 2 yards to go, maybe 2.5 yards. In motion is Savridis, but the give is underneath to Adams. Adams has the first down and more. He spins inside the 10. There's a flag down, but he's in for the score. Now there is a flag down, and I believe it happened up the field, Joe, near the sideline, as this one will come back, but it will be a first down nonetheless, I believe. Spot of the foul.
Take those points off the board. There is a flag against Jersey, but you said it, Dave. That flag occurred down the field, and that will result in a first down on the play. We'll see how far back Bearcats' offense is moved.
Well, that's the second time, Joe, that Adams almost had a touchdown after shedding 1, 2, and 3 tackles on the play. Look at the extraordinary move that he makes here. I think this was a earlier play. Yeah, this was the screen pass catch. But back-to-back great plays for Adams. Gets them the first down at the 16-yard line. Now we do have 1 minute to go officially, so the clock will stop automatically for the 1 minute warning. As you can see it on your screen, the Bearcats with all 3 timeouts left, the Lions with 2. So we should have plenty of stoppages upcoming.
Well, Dave, it goes without saying, the Lions cannot afford to allow a touchdown here. If they do, that might put this game out of reach, behind by 4 possessions.
And their last couple of defensive drives have been good. Of course, holding the Bearcats off the scoreboard in that 1st and 10 from the Lions' 12-yard line. And then, of course, they did have Adams in the backfield. If they're able to rack him up, they come off the field here. Instead, the Bearcats' drive continues from the 16. Another bad snap and a fumble, and it is scooped up by the Lions. Promptly put down was Cameron Bates, but it'll be Lions football on another bad snap, Joe. That's the 4th one fumble today for the Bearcats.
Well, I think it's fair to ask the question, Dave, what's going on with the snaps for Jersey in this game? It's been a problem all night, and that's a really big giveaway, but it may not stand, as there is a flag down on the field. I didn't see the flag come out, and we'll have to see what happens after they sort this one out. There was indeed a flag on the play.
But it looks like it'll still remain Lions ball, but there was a holding or something happened because they backed them up 5 yards. But it will be first down, Georgia-Lina at their own 23-yard line. And a chance with 52.7 seconds left to make this an interesting game going into the locker room after the Bearcats raced out to a 13-0 lead at the end of the first quarter, and at the end of their first 3 drives, they were up 19-0.
Dave, 52.7 is an eternity. The Lions still have 2 timeouts. They will stick with Stokes at quarterback, so it looks like he will be the signal caller the rest of the way. Wallace remains in the game at wideout, far side of your screen.
And it will be Wallace in motion. Everybody offside on that one as Coppin got off to a head start along with Wallace on the play.
Lions not making their job any easier with a pre-snap penalty, and we've seen that a lot this year as well. Teams hampered by pre-snap penalties, and those sting, especially in a situation like this. This game changes completely if Georgia-Lina scores. If they do not, they have to score on their first drive of the second half. So they'll have 2 chances to get a much-needed touchdown, and they still have 52.7 on the clock to get one before halftime.
Lions very much still involved in this game, but they still do have to prove that they can get down the field as well. Going for the home run on this play, and that was just outstretched the fingertips of Wallace, just over the outstretched fingertips, and he had a step.
He sure did, and he was a bit further toward the sideline than Sadiq Palmer was on that play. There was room to throw that ball toward the corner on the outside shoulder of the receiver. We'll see how good of a look we get at it in this spot. And there you see that pass leading Wallace just a step or two to the inside. That might have been the difference on that play, Dave.
Maybe going outside shoulder there, that would have been an automatic 6 points. But instead, with 47 seconds left, it's 2nd and 15. Stokes now looking left. He might tuck it down. Now he's going to look sideline the other way, and incomplete. Just off the fingertips again, and would have been a dazzling catch over on the far side. I believe that was Wallace again, Joe. Not quite sure. No, that was number 4, Levante Jackson. So you pick it up on the monitor, but nice job by Stokes on the run to put that one. Oh, and that was almost a beautiful one-handed catch by Jackson.
Stokes now is throwing with gloves on. Looks like there's a marked difference in his passes.
Yeah.
I cannot throw with gloves on at all myself.
Right. Especially if it's those tacky gloves, Joe. That's really hard coming off your hand.
Wide receiver gloves.
Yeah.
Impossible to throw in. At least I thought so. Perhaps that's what he's wearing.
So interesting here, 3rd down and 15 with 39.9 seconds on the clock. Bearcats might be looking here to get this ball back in great field position. Meanwhile, the Lions just missing on a couple. That one middle of the field and almost intercepted, as Blitcher almost had a chance for interception number 2.
Well, I spoke about it earlier, Dave. What could have been if it weren't for a couple of passes off the mark, a couple of drop passes, and that was magnified even more so on that last play. Right there again, the intended target open, as we're going to get some push-ups from Blitcher in the secondary after he failed to come up with that INT. But Coppin was open here, and that ball is just well overthrown.
Absolutely.
They will go for it on 4th.
4th down and 15. They'll need a big play here on a day when they haven't gotten anything, and a sack in the backfield by Keymon Coleman. The player of Pregame makes it hold up here on this drive.
Well, Dave, they say not to jinx a no-hitter, not to jinx a perfect game, but Keymon said they want to give up 0 in this game, and they're almost halfway there. 28.4 seconds on the clock ahead of halftime, and if there was one thing that Georgia-Lina could not afford outside of a turnover leading to an immediate touchdown, it was giving the ball back to Jersey with their defense pinned back against their own goal line and time on the clock. 28.4 remaining in the first half. Plenty of time for Jersey. As I said before, Dave, I think a score might put this one away for the Bearcats, going ahead by 4 possessions.
I would have to agree, especially with the Lions really not completing a single pass in this half, at least nothing of substance in the air at all today. But it's 1st and goal from the 7-yard line officially with 28 seconds left. Remember, the Bearcats have all 3 timeouts left too. So they can essentially run the football plenty here on this drive as Adams sidesteps and gets in untouched for the score.
Bearcats do it again, Dave. They get down around the goal line. They hand the ball off to Adams. And for the 2nd time in this game, Adams scores. Looks like it might be a good omen to be our guest during the pregame, Dave.
Absolutely.
Just saying.
Adams with a couple of scores, set up by the Coleman sack on the play earlier, back-to-back pregame players making an impact, all drawn up by A.J. Roque. And it's 25-0 here with 20 seconds to go. And the Bearcats seemingly on their way after this great first half. Of course, they'll have to make it hold up in half number 2, but man, oh man, this could be the biggest first half lead that they've had this season, at least for us here on PDF Sports Network it is.
Certainly is. And I mentioned 2 key figures during the pregame, as that extra point is good. But 50 points for the offense. They are on pace for that. And then we asked Keymon Coleman, what number are you looking to allow on defense? He said 0. They are on pace to allow 0. Things couldn't be going much better for Jersey in this first half.
Storego, of course, gets the point after, the semi-pro veteran of almost a decade, of course, bouncing around for from a few teams, outdoors and indoors. Storego making an impact this season. And, of course, you get another look at Adams' second rushing touchdown of the game. He had one earlier from 9 yards, this one from 7. Adams having himself a nice evening here. And the Bearcats 20 seconds away from going into the locker room with a shutout, 26-0. The Steel City Stampede, of course, awaiting the winner of this game. They won their semifinal against the Maryland Eagles 54-32 a little earlier this evening. That went final just as we were at kickoff.
Well, Dave, I think if you're the Lions in this spot, everything's on the table now. You have to score. I don't think there's any question about that. They need a touchdown, and they need it before halftime. They do get the ball to start the second half. We've seen crazier things happen, but Bearcats have a commanding 4-possession lead, and the Lions are going to get back into this game. I think they have to score on this drive.
Storego with a line driver that bounces at about the 8, but played cleanly that time by Wortham, and he gets it to about the 15-yard line, maybe just shy. So they'll have to go a little bit over 35 yards in just under 14 seconds. Do the Lions on a night where they have not completed a pass, at least according to my chicken scratches here. I don't believe they have. Of course, affecting that is Corey Wallace, leaving the game at quarterback for a right hand injury. He has yielded to Savon Stokes, who's done a good job running it out of the offensive backfield on keepers, but they're going to need a home run here. They just missed on a couple last drive.
It's hard to believe with the opportunities they've had that they haven't completed a pass.
It's Wallace in motion, but it's a all-the-way run that time as Price able to grab Stokes around the neck and take him down just outside the 20 to the 21-yard line. That is a gain of 7 on the play, and it looks like the Lions will call their second timeout.
Occasionally, you'll see that called, a face mask. It all comes down to whether or not Price got his hand underneath the helmet.
It's like he kind of gave him a hug there. Yeah, kind of yanked, but I don't think he grabbed the helmet.
It's a clean tackle.
Yank. Yeah.
I think it's a clean tackle.
Actually,
good call by the official, or no call, I should say.
Well, I don't think the Lions did use a timeout, and yet clock was stopped. Taking it again with Stokes. Stokes got hit from up top and down low by Coleman and Price. It'll be a first down on the Bearcats side of the field, and perhaps time for one play here with 1.3 seconds left.
Well, there's no question that Georgia-Lina will look to give Stokes enough time to throw for the end zone. And he's put a couple of balls right on target around the goal line, a couple just out of the reach of his intended receivers, and right now that's looming large.
Lions did use both of their timeouts just to stop the clock. They didn't line up for anything. Stokes looking for the home run, middle of the field, intercepted by Palmer. Palmer with some room to run. He's got black jerseys in front of him. He's at the 20. This one's coming back because of a hold. Palmer's taken down at the 20. And that looks like it will end the first half. Second interception of the game for the Bearcats. And it is halftime as that penalty was against the Bearcats. But, of course, after the play was over, 26-0 is our halftime score.
And if you're the Bearcats, outside of that one turnover, couldn't have asked for much more in that first half. 26 points, the defense pitching a shutout. They've played incredibly well to this point, have not allowed a completed pass, and I think they've allowed maybe a total of 2 rushing yards. Most of Georgia-Lina's offense has come in the form of penalty yards. We saw a 15-yard personal foul against Jersey, and that might account for more than half of Georgia-Lina's offense. I think it has.
I believe you're right, Joe, and the reason why we haven't kicked it to break yet is because there's still a little bit of discussion about whether there is one more play to go after that penalty. But no, now both teams are waving their teams to the locker rooms as whatever the result of that play was, it was going to signal the end of the half anyway, no matter who was up against. So that is your halftime score that you see on your screen. The winner goes to the AAL2 championship game in Pennsylvania 2 weeks from tonight. It's the Bearcats 26 and the Georgia-Lina Lions nothing. Stay with us. This is the AAL2 and Jersey Bearcats Arena Football on the PDF Sports Network.
Burgers are better at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
My weekend starts with the Brownstone burger, topped with cheddar, barbecue sauce, and a fried egg.
Give me the Hawaiian burger. I love the Canadian bacon and sweet pineapple.
How do you like your salads? Shrimp, chicken, beef?
Stop in and see why families are eating good at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
Life insurance is a benefit you and your loved one.
We are back here, halftime between the Bearcats and the Lions. We have our head coach, A.J. Roque, joining us on headset, this time to start the halftime. A.J., so far so good, 26-0 at halftime. What are your impressions of this first half?
Right now, we're playing sloppy here and there. Sometimes offensively, we're definitely playing sloppy, and we just got to clean that up in the second half. Yeah, we have 26 points on the board, but for us, it's not up to our standards. We got to be better.
Coach, a couple of snaps that were awry. New person under center, Jules.
Yeah, Jules had to come in for a few because Steven dislocated his finger.
Okay.
But thank God it wasn't his snapping hand, so
Gotcha.
we got it taken care of and he came back.
How has this game measured up to your expectations so far? Coming in, obviously, the long layoff. How has this game played out in terms of what you expected entering the playoffs?
I actually think we were going to get it together a little later than what we did. And I'm happy right now, again, just to accept a couple of drives on offense. But other than that, I'm okay. We got to be better, though, but I can take it.
AJ, last one. We did learn that the Stampede were victorious in their semifinal. No matter who wins this game, they go into Pennsylvania in 2 weeks. Does that get mentioned in the locker room at halftime at all?
No. But I'm definitely – we can't wait. If this game ends the way, it is right now, we'll talk about that.
Maybe we will at the conclusion of this game. AJ, thanks for joining us.
Yep.
Good luck in the second half. All right, so A.J. Roque joining us here on the halftime. Joe, 26-0 game, but still things to clean up.
No question about it. We mentioned the snaps that have gone awry. You asked AJ about it. There was a change at center due to injury. That certainly can play a role, building that rapport between center and quarterback. Always something that takes a bit of time. We saw the impact of that in the first half. Fortunately for Jersey, that did not result in any Georgia-Lina points. They have a shutout going as we head into the halftime break. The Bearcats offense with some things to clean up, as Coach Roque mentioned, but this defense has been phenomenal.
We had to cut our sponsors short to bring AJ on. We don't want to do that to our sponsors. So let's throw it to break. We'll get a word from all of our sponsors here that make the AAL2 and PDF Sports Network possible. So we'll see you at the end of this break and break down the first half further.
Today's game is presented by Total Performance Bodywork with Dave Riemann. Dave is a body worker, licensed massage therapist, and strength and movement coach. He's combined his wide variety of expertise into a system that he calls Total Performance Bodywork. Trusted by professional athletes and bodybuilders, Dave has been helping people to recover from new and old injuries, improve their breathing efficiency, athletic performance, mobility, flexibility, and their overall strength. Visit Total Performance Bodywork at totalperformancebodywork.com or contact Dave by calling 610-570-7480 or email daveriemann@rcn.com. This broadcast is being sponsored by the U.S. Army, the U.S. Army Junior ROTC, and the Crusaders, a winning combination of enterprise, leadership, innovation, courage, and commitment. Learn more about the U.S. Army and ROTC programs by visiting goarmy.com and at usarmyjrotc.com. Become a part of our winning team through enrollment, employment, and leadership opportunities. Be all you can be with the Army and Army ROTC. East Coast Trophies and Awards has been serving your awards needs since 1986 and is now a proud sponsor of the PDF Sports Network. From sports-specific trophies and plaques to corporate and business promotions and gifts, East Coast Trophies and Awards is your one-stop shop for all of your crowning achievements, and they always meet the right price. Contact Chris today at 848-223-7071 or visit them at www.eastcoastawards.com. This broadcast is being brought to you by the Three Bleezies Entertainment Group on the Three Bleezies Facebook and Instagram page. Catch the Three Bleezies weekly show, as well as live recordings and all the opinions and the unfiltered hot topics you've come to love about semi-pro. It's the resource for semi-pro football and more, from the official source for all things Bleezy. The Three Bleezies Facebook and Instagram page. Visit and follow now. Mundo, yeah, yeah.
Unique Resin Design specializes in home decor with one-of-a-kind handcrafted resin products, perfect for your home and any place you love. Perfect for gifts and parties, let Imani Green dazzle you with inspirational creations you can get at only one place, Unique Resin Designs. Visit us at uniqueresindesign.com and learn how to get free shipping on your next order.
Lila Keys Photography. To capture the very best memories, let Lila Keys Photography be your answer. For maternity and milestone photos, family portraits, events and graduations. From simple headshots to action-packed sports photography, Lila Keys Photography preserves your greatest moments and achievements. Reach out at lilakeys21@gmail.com or reach out via Instagram at Lila Keys.
Welcome back to Waranenko Sports Center here in Roselle, New Jersey. We are at halftime between the Jersey Bearcats and the Georgia-Lina Lions, and right now it has been the Bearcats 26-0. They scored on their first 3 offensive drives of the game, then got held up for a couple of drives, turned the ball over on downs, had a fumble that they lost, and then they came back and scored right before the end of the first half. The scorers, there have been 2 of them. Nasir Adams had the first one, 9-yard touchdown run in the first quarter. Anthony Starego's kick made it a 7-0 game. Then it was Dante Owens who had a 7-yard catch from Stephen Colon. The 2-point conversion was unsuccessful, so it was 13-0. Play went into the second quarter from there, and it was Dante Owens with his second touchdown grab from Colon, this time from 12 yards out, made it a 19-0 score. The extra point was blocked, so the score remained at 19-0. And then with just about 20 seconds to go in the first half, Nasir Adams scores on the second touchdown run of the game for him, 7 yards. The extra point was successful, and your score is 26-0. The winner of this game will take on the Steel City Stampede in Pennsylvania. The final score of their semifinal game was 54-32. So we take a look at the bracket that's coming up on your screen. Steel City able to punch their ticket. They improved to 8-0 this season. They get past the Maryland Eagles by a score of 54-32. And the Bearcats, should they hold on, those will be our 2 contestants in the championship. Of course, Georgia-Lina will need a huge second half in order to come back in this one. So we will send it over to break one final time before we get you ready for the second half kickoff. Once again, your score 26-0 in favor of the Bearcats. We'll see you after this break.
Burgers are better at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
My weekend starts with the Brownstone burger, topped with cheddar, barbecue sauce, and a fried egg.
Give me the Hawaiian burger. I love the Canadian bacon and sweet pineapple.
How do you like your salads? Shrimp, chicken, beef?
Stop in and see why families are eating good at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
Life insurance is a benefit you and your loved ones need. Buying it early means lower premiums, higher benefits, security, and peace of mind. At I'm Covered Life Insurance, you get a personal touch from Anthony M. Royster, whose primary purpose is to provide proper protection. Unsure of how to start or want the keys to a sound financial plan? Call Anthony at I'm Covered Life Insurance at 267-323-9632 or email aroyster@amrimcovered.com.
Warananko Sports Center is the official home of the Jersey Bearcats and is proud to welcome the AAL2. Located at One Park Drive in Roselle, Warananko is available for parties and rentals, public skating in the winter, and camps and activities each spring and summer. Visit us at waranankopark.com to learn more about our rink, indoor dining and party area, and all that beautiful Warananko Park has to offer. waranankopark.com or call 908-298-7849.
Arena football fans, make sure you keep up with the latest news and information from the AAL and AAL2 all year long at AmericanArenaLeague.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Like, subscribe, and follow all of the AAL2 teams to keep up with the latest league happenings and stay connected. Want to sponsor the AAL and AAL2? Contact us at info@AmericanArenaLeague.com. We'll see you at the arena.
If you plan to do chicken, then do chicken like a champ at Wing It On in Linden. Voted #1 medium wing sauce at the National Buffalo Wing Festival. Wing It On is family owned and operated in Linden, New Jersey, and we have an excellent array of your favorite wings and chicken done to perfection. We have the true flavor of champions at Wing It On. Stop in or order now at wingiton.com or call our store at 908-486-0910.
The Jersey Bearcats would like to thank Von Seals Veggies and Seafood, official food sponsor of the Jersey Bearcats game day. Von Seals food truck is available for bookings at vvsfoodtruck@gmail.com, specializing in the most delicious seafood with the freshest of vegetables made to order. Follow Chef Supreme and Von Seals on Facebook to see where we are serving the best plant and pescatarian food near you.
Do some upcoming stuff. Welcome back here to the Warananko Sports Center in Roselle, New Jersey. The Jersey Bearcats in complete control after the first half by a score of 26-0. And you see we are just about ready to start quarter number 3. And, you know, Joe, it's one thing for the Lions to try and get themselves back into this game, but they're going to have to overturn a 26-point deficit. That's going to be near impossible.
Well, Dave, I'm glad you said near impossible, but there were two things that really stood out to me in that first half. First, the Bearcats' defense played extremely well. Obviously, they had their issues on the offensive side, mostly because of snaps. So if they eliminate those poor snaps, it eliminates most of their issues on offense. However, on the other side, what could have been for Georgia-Lina in that first half? One pass to the end zone that we thought could have been caught, instead hits off the glass. Another one on a streak up the sideline, a go route straight up the near side. Ball thrown just a couple of steps to the inside, falls incomplete off the fingertips of the intended target. Another attempt for Levante Jackson on the goal line. He nearly made an incredible catch. That falls incomplete. And then we had several more passes throughout that first half, some over the middle, intermediate passes, other short passes that contacted receivers yet fell incomplete. Georgia-Lina has still not completed a pass. There have been many chances to do so, and there have certainly been many chances for them to get within a score or two in this game, but they just haven't converted. For them to get back in it, that needs to change. However, the way Jersey has played defense, that's not going to be easy.
Yeah, definitely a tall order, and of course, one of the things that we've learned here is that nothing is impossible. Of course, the first game that we covered was between the Steel City Stampede, which punched its ticket to the championship a little earlier tonight, against this very same Jersey Bearcats team. Jersey had a 20-point lead going into the fourth quarter. In fact, with 4 minutes to go, it was still 20 points. That's when Steel City scored the first touchdown to get themselves back, ended up winning the game by 2. So we've seen it all pretty much here in the AAL, and 2 weeks from now, we might see it all over again if the Bearcats are able to hold on for these final 30 minutes.
And you have to think that after week 1, it had to sting Jersey just a bit that they wouldn't get a shot at Steel City a second time during the regular season. They're going to get that second chance in the championship game if they can hold on for the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, one of the things that we said after that game was, if the season is anything like this game, we're in for a real treat. Well, we might get that treat again. Start of the second half taken by Wortham, and Wortham with a big return just shy of midfield and had to make just one man miss. And I believe that was Simmons who railed him into the boards to save the touchdown. Also in there, of course, was Tariq Pusey. But good starting field position for the Lions.
And that shoulder check into the glass perhaps saved a touchdown at the end of that return. And taking a look toward the huddle for Georgia-Lina, Savon Stokes is going to remain the quarterback, so you have to think he is staying in at quarterback the rest of the way. Should be noted as well, he is not wearing the gloves that he wore on the final drive of the first half for the Lions.
Interesting. So you've seen that, of course, today. Got like some motion, and now a couple of Lions giving themselves up on the play as Cameron Bates came off. I think Wallace got off to an early start, too, at the line of scrimmage, and then Bates kind of gave himself up.
Well, Bates definitely had the body language that signaled my bad.
Yeah.
Though, if he didn't come out of his stance, I'm not sure that was getting called.
Right. So, actually encroachment on the defense,
Yikes.
Joe.
The public address announcer was having fun with that call.
Yes, you can't do that.
Exclamations of "you can't do that." Well, you still can't do that.
1st and 5 is the official play, and that's a toss and a running play, and slammed into the boards was Joshua Vaughn, just short of the first down. It'll be about a 2nd down and 2.
Vaughn took a big hit on that play.
That was an interesting pitch by Stokes, too. It was like half a toss, half a pass, half an underhand, half an overhand.
Well, that is not a forward pass, not a completion.
Like a shot put. No, that's a running play. Yeah, sure, that was a lateral.
Point is, Georgia-Lina is still looking for their first completion.
So here we go, 2nd down and 3 after a gain of 2 on the play. Hard couple of yards for Vaughn, who is once again in motion. Now a designed run up the middle for Stokes. He's very close to a first down. I believe he's got it. They'll probably move the sticks here.
Some good play design there by the Lions. A bit of misdirection. Once again, Vaughn moving across the backfield. And that looked like an option. Saw Jackson make his way toward the far side. Option to pitch that ball over to him instead. Stokes keeps it and picks up the first down.
Joey Ramirez on the tackle, and Lions haven't had much work offensively tonight, but they have been able to get forward yardage on Stokes' runs out of the backfield, design running plays. This time he looks left, now right, looking in the corner, and it's running out of real estate now off of the glass. Palmer was able to make the catch, but that'll be incomplete. Levante Jackson just kind of ran out of room, Joe. He slammed the back of his helmet against the glass, reaching up for that one. Just didn't really know where he was and got clocked, but that was another decent ball there in the corner.
I think he had a chance to catch it if he knew the glass was behind him.
Yeah,
he certainly did.
Yeah,
if he knew the glass was there and could have braced himself, he certainly could have gotten his hands on that football before it hit the boards.
It's another aspect to arena football that a lot of outdoor players have to really get themselves used to here. Those boards come at you quickly and you run out of room, especially backpedaling to make those catches in the back of the end zone. 2nd down and 10. Stokes buys himself some time looking in the corner, and that one is intercepted by Butcher again, his 2nd pick of the evening. He's going to get slammed to the turf just inside the 10-yard line, but the Bearcats will take over on turnover number 3.
And something else the Bearcats defense has done a great job of in this game. I've talked about the interior pressure they've created on the defensive line. They have taken away the first read on a lot of these passing plays. They've forced whoever has been at quarterback for the Lions to really survey the field, to buy time with their feet, and ultimately to force passes that simply aren't there. And in that situation, that throw certainly not there. Wallace had 3 defenders around him. There was nowhere to put that football. And you have to think it weighs on the quarterback as well to see opportunities go by the wayside. That last pass, one that probably could have been completed for a touchdown. The next throw a bit forced, and it becomes a turnover.
Are you sure you didn't interview Devin Blutcher before the game, Joe?
That's a good point, Dave.
He's got 2 interceptions.
We did look for a third player.
That's right. Well, a couple of picks for him and 3 on the day for the Bearcats. They have the ball back. 11:38 to go, third quarter, with a 26-point lead. Perhaps a chance now to get a little creative and look for some plays that you might not have run often here, although plenty of time still left to go. The give is up the middle to Savridis, and he almost broke it, but gains about 6 on the play.
Keldrick Wright on the tackle, went low and took Savridis down. That was a big tackle because there was a nice hole there on the right side of that Jersey offensive line. You see the pre-snap motion by Savridis here. That run looked to be a counter. Initially made a move to the right, cuts it back. Or I should say made a move to his left and cuts it back to the right toward the far side. Nice gain on first down.
Lost in that, a good open field tackle by Keldrick Wright to limit what could have been a much longer gain. As Joe mentions here, we are under 11 minutes on 2nd down and 4 now. The Bearcats operate out of the shotgun. They look for the home run ball. Wide open is Dante Owens. And Owens, for the 3rd time tonight, is in the end zone.
2 quarters plus of this Jersey offense taking what this Lions defense has given them underneath, taking what this Lions defense has given them in the running game, and finally they connect on the deep ball. Dante Owens left all alone, a complete breakdown in the secondary for Georgia-Lina. You'll see it right here. It looked like the caution hook may have gotten off to an early start on the defensive line, and they simply lost Owens along the near side. He streaks up the field, wide open. Cologne hits him in stride. Bearcats touchdown, and they now lead it by 32.
Yeah, pretty easy to see the cornerback thinking he has safety help up top. Nobody home. And Dante Owens with the hat trick here, his 3rd touchdown of the game. Cologne's 3rd touchdown pass. The extra point is no good as it hit the top netting. And so the score will remain 32-0 as once again players have to peel away here after the conversion attempt. 9:51 to go officially as clock stops. And the Bearcats in commanding and complete control.
Well, I'm not sure if you have the answer to this, Dave, but I've been pondering it throughout the season. If the ball hits the top netting on a kick, does it become a judgment call? Because I've seen some of those ruled good and some of those ruled no good. Just a question I had, especially after that last one.
It's a question I certainly can't answer because I agree with you, Joe. We've had games this season where the ball has hit the top of the netting and has kind of come in and has been counted, and that one did not, as we got the dance party started. Is it too early to start dancing, Joe?
Ethan Brobard doesn't think so, that's for sure. I won't be dancing.
Well, you know, Ethan Brobard this is one of the new additions to the roster, and I mentioned Tariq Puse, number 22, who played special teams and made a big tackle on the last kickoff. 2 new additions to this Bearcats roster in the weeks that we've been off. Of course, the Bearcats haven't played since May 20th. Skipping ball is corralled in by Wortham. Made one guy miss, but unfortunately can't make Nathaniel miss as they will start inside of their own 10.
And look how many black jerseys were in the area of Wortham on that kickoff. He had nowhere to go after he finally was able to corral that football. That was a tough hop it took right in front of him. He is able to bring it in, but nothing but black jerseys surrounding him as he was unable to get it back to the 10.
Joe, got to the arena early tonight. I had a chance to speak to Anthony Storigo's father, who, of course, travels with his son to all of his games. Very lengthy career for his son in semi-pro and an arena, and talked about the importance of special teams and how many teams and how many units kind of overlook it in practice and don't do enough repetitions. The Bearcats do. They spend a lot of time on special teams, and it shows on plays like that.
No question about it. They haven't had any of those special team catastrophes that we've seen in some other games we've covered outside of the AAL too.
100% as Stokes once again will operate out of the shotgun. Bad snap, was able to get to it. Now is under heavy pressure and is put down for the sack at about the 2-yard line. And there he is, who we just mentioned, Ethan Brobard, comes in, makes an impact.
He got warm with those dance moves, immediately comes up with a sack on the first play of the ensuing drive. Here we'll get a second look at it. Comes in from the linebacker spot as the Bearcats sent 4 on that play. The Lions did block 4, but that wasn't enough to slow down Brobard.
Yeah, he kind of snuck in there on the weaker side, and with 8.5 minutes to go now, the Lions snapping it from just inside their own 3-yard line. 2nd down and 16. Looking deep is Stokes. He will take off with it. Flips it up, and the catch is made. First completion of the game for the Lions, and it'll travel all the way close to midfield for the first down.
A very unorthodox completion, but a completion nonetheless, as Stokes was able to flip that one forward. Jackson was able to corral it, and that will set up the Lions at the 24-yard line, just a yard shy of midfield. And once again, a good job by Stokes to extend the play. He's been forced to do that a lot since coming into the game.
Yep, you complete the pass with your hands, but it was really his legs that extended that, provided for the extra yards. We do have a penalty down. Stokes is able to get it on the outside and get about 6 yards on the play, but we'll see if this one comes back.
That flag was thrown in the secondary, and it is against the Bearcats.
It is against the Bearcats.
Well, theoretically, it's still a 4-score game. Should
Right.
the Lions get in here, I don't think there's much doubt they'd go for 2.
Yeah, obviously still an eternity left in this game, a chance for the Lions to scratch their way back in. Now the ball is being spotted at the original line of scrimmage. Actually, now they'll walk it the 5 yards to make it a 1st down and 5. But, you know, if you're the Bearcats, you're looking at that goose egg on the scoreboard and you're saying, man, wouldn't it be great if we can hold them to 0 all game? Of course, sometimes not the most realistic approach in arena football, but why not here in the middle of the 3rd quarter? Another flag down, middle of the field. That pass incomplete. Well overthrown in the intention of Wallace's area. Looks like this will be a holding call.
And that's going to be a hold against Quentin Howard. He held Javon Young. And it looked like Young was well blocked, but once Stokes rolled to his right, that gave him the lane to rush the quarterback and forced Howard to hold.
That's the difficulty sometimes, Joe, when you have a scrambling quarterback or a quarterback making more time for himself in the pocket. Is more time that goes by, the more likelihood there is of a holding call. And they got burned that time, so now it's 1st down, actually a little bit more than 15. Looks like 1st and 16.
There you see the hold again.
Yep.
As that pass fell incomplete anyway.
And we have a whistle. I think there'll be a timeout. Yes, it's called by the Georgia-Lina Lions. So why don't we step aside, take a very short break. 32-0 is our score. Lions calling timeout.
Today's game is being brought to you by Staples, the official office superstore. With multiple locations throughout the tri-state area, Staples has what you need for your office, home, or home office. Visit us at staples.com for the location nearest you. And by Phenom, providing the official ball of the American Arena League and the official outfitting partner of the Jersey Bearcats. Visit phenomelitebrand.com for gotta-have apparel and accessories.
Welcome back here. We are set to go. 1st and 16 for the Lions. And Joe, the fans are located on the same side that we are, but a nice crowd has really collected here for this game, this playoff feature here at Waranenko. Bad snap, corralled nicely by Stokes. Another flag down, multiple flags. That pass dropped underneath. Huge hit put on by Simmons on Coppin. Either way, it looks like this one might be coming back. Tariq Pusey in on that as well.
I thought he was the one that made the big hit at the end of the play. A couple of completions on this drive for the Lions.
Yeah,
give them each half a tackle.
A double crunch on that one.
Yeah, I certainly don't envy the ball carrier Coppin on that play. But you said it, Dave. A nice crowd here at Waranenko. Waranenko always crowded, even if the arena doesn't have something going on. A lot of foot traffic outside the building, and many of those patrons here at Waranenko Park making their way inside to take in this arena football matchup.
1st and 20 now as they back up another 5 yards. Stacks on the right side, and that was a direct snap that was fumbled. It was picked up by the Lions, as fumbling the direct snap was Jackson, but falling on it nicely was Cameron Bates. Good heads-up play by Bates to notice the ball was on the ground and get a couple yards out of it.
I'm not sure they intended to snap that to Jackson. We'll see if we get a second look at it here.
I thought it was almost a direct snap. Let's see. At least Stokes looks surprised.
It was an unintentional direct snap.
Oh.
That wasn't intended for Jackson.
Really?
I don't think so. He certainly wasn't ready for it. He wasn't looking.
Yeah, for sure.
Unless the center had the wrong play call and thought the ball was going to Jackson. I think there was just a mistiming of that motion.
Either way, they do gain a couple of yards, so it's 2nd and maybe 19 yards to go. Wallace was in motion. Stokes is going to take it himself. He might get wrapped up, and he gets popped. Jervon Young finished him off. Gain of 1.
We've seen some emphatic celebrations from this Bearcats defensive unit today. I think it's fair to say it's been warranted as they continue to shut out this Lions offense. Young's had quite the last few plays as he buries Stokes there. And Stokes, who started this day at wide receiver, has to be thinking to himself,
did I sign up for this?
What did I get myself into rotating over to the quarterback spot? Of course, that was due to injury, but it takes some mental preparation to take hits like that all game.
3rd and 17 is the result after a gain of 1. Stokes, nobody open. Now they look middle of the field. That one's well underthrown in the direction once again of Wallace. It'll be 4th down. And, getting back to that play, Joe, by Young, how many times have we seen defensive ends, defensive linemen over pursue the quarterback? The quarterback leaves the pocket and then they kind of give up on the play, or they have their hands on their hips. On that last play, Jervon Young never quits. He gets bumped. He has the second bump there, never gives up on the play, and then comes back and makes the tackle on that play. And you got another chance to see that 3rd down that sets up a 4th down. And the Lions, I don't know if they called timeout here, but they are taking an awfully long time.
Well, there was an animated discussion going on around the Georgia-Lina bench.
They might be punting here.
Yeah, it looks like they are.
Yeah, number 11, the caution hook, might be taking this snap as he inches a little bit further up, and everybody goes except for the center. So Ronald Black didn't get the memo.
Well, I said it earlier, Dave. Georgia-Lina very easily could be in this game were it not for the opportunities they missed in that first half. And a couple of those were missed by just fingertips. They were fingertips away from no less than 2 touchdowns, potentially 3.
Yeah.
And obviously that would completely change the complexion of this game. As it stands, the Bearcats' defense has been phenomenal. And because of how good they've been, the windows have been tight. And so far, Georgia-Lina hasn't been able to take advantage of any of those tight windows they've had.
This drive started at about midfield, and now Georgia-Lina is at their own 9. They are going to go for it, and the pass is incomplete. And
they needed 17, Dave.
They needed, I think, more than that, Joe. I think the first down marker was at the 16 of the Bearcats. So those penalties added, I think, a little bit more.
Right, they had the 5 yards on the penalty.
Moot
so
point
they
now.
needed about 22.
And we'll see if the Bearcats can squeeze in another score before this quarter is over. It's 1:20 officially remaining in the 3rd quarter. The clock has stopped. Here in the 3rd quarter, the Jersey Bearcats may get their wish and a rematch with the Steel City Stampede. And, Joe, it's interesting. After that first game, the social media hashtag for Jersey Bearcats was "someone has to pay." And that hashtag started right after that loss against Steel City. It started with their practice that following Tuesday, and it's kind of stuck with this team throughout the season, and they'll get a chance to redeem themselves against the Stampede in 2 weeks.
You can't ask for a better ending if you're Jersey than a win over Steel City. Easier said than done. Looks like they're going to get their chance to avenge that defeat. if you were scripting the season, that is the matchup that we would have anticipated for the final week of the season in the championship game.
First and goal from the 9. Cologne maybe taking it himself. Now looks, puts it over to Savridis, and he makes the catch for the touchdown. Cologne's going to get flagged for an excessive celebration. He's still celebrating, Joe. Flag or no flag. Savridis in the end zone for the first time tonight. The score will stand. It's 38-0 as time continues to move here.
We've obviously covered Stefan Cologne outside of the AAL2 in the EFA last season. He's not a quarterback that looks to run often, but he's good at extending plays and buying time with his feet, then finding an open man down the field. That's on full display right there. We didn't get a look at the celebration. I have to wonder if he would have been flagged were Tashawn Deal not right at his feet. He had a defender right at his feet as that celebration was going on. That drew the flag. No question, that's a penalty. But if the defender's not there, perhaps they let that one go.
Yeah, and it looked like he was dancing over top of the defender, or at least behind the defender.
He was behind him, but the defender was within a foot of his feet.
And then the flag came down, and he didn't stop the celebration.
No, he did not.
So, you know what? You're going to get flagged. You may as well complete the play, right, Joe? So they're all going to go for 2 here, Joe, with the clock still winding down. We might hear a buzzer here, and they might let this play continue. Maybe not. As they'll do.
They did last time.
They did last time. The 2-point conversion. Oh, they are going to line them back up. So this will be a play with no time on the clock to end the third quarter no matter what.
Adams in the backfield on this one. We've seen him get a lot of carries down around this area of the field.
And what's interesting, Joe, is they go for 2, but the ball is still spotted at the 3. So it's almost like that penalty really wasn't enforced after the play. I mean, in a 38-0 game, you don't think about these things, but that could be a big play down the road. Nasir Adams in a different game, obviously, but Nasir Adams in the end zone for the 2-point conversion. And it's 40-0.
Joe Stradamus again, Dave. As Adams is in once again. Has a couple of touchdowns, converts on that 2-point try.
Yep, officially 14 points for him. Two scores and a 2-point conversion. 40-0 is our score. I do not believe we have had, in fact, I can assure you, we have not had a shutout.
We have not.
In Arena this year. We've had, of course, shutouts because of forfeits. That doesn't count.
No.
But
we have not had a shutout through 3 either.
That's true.
Have we reached halftime in a shutout? I don't believe
so.
Not
us. I don't know about around the league, but I can assure you around the league we have not had a shutout throughout the entire season. And it's a historic year for the AAL2. You know, we don't mention enough, the AAL was started in 2018, lasted for 3 seasons. Of course, COVID interrupting play, but A.J. Roque and Jermaine Sanders taking over the AAL ownership in 2021. They opt not to have a season at all in 22, and instead of rebooting the AAL, they reboot the AAL2, more of a developmental league, which what you're seeing now in 2023. And the AAL still to come from those 2 gentlemen, as that is a live ball that ends up near the boards and out of play at about the 13-yard line or so. But historic year, Joe, because everything happening really for the first time. The AAL2's inaugural season will have an inaugural champion in 2 weeks from tonight, and it's a first for everything, and first is forever.
Well, they had a provisional team in the league this year as well. The Maulers and the Sharks will be a new addition, if I'm not mistaken, next season. So the league is growing. We'll see if all the teams from this season return. But nonetheless, plenty of firsts this year in the AAL2. And as you said, Dave, the inaugural championship will take place in 2 weeks. That will take place about 2 hours away from here in Pennsylvania, and we will be there.
And speaking of firsts, the PDF Sports Network will be celebrating a first birthday at the end of July. And this is, of course, our first ever Arena Football League season coverage. We covered some semi-professional football through the fall and a couple of games in the spring. We got a chance to see a little bit of the TFL with the Eagles and the Bangers. And you know what, Joe, the 2 teams that we covered, the Eagles and Bangers in the TFL, they ended up meeting in the championship. The Bangers exercised the demons and won that game.
And that opener wasn't close.
It was not, but the Bangers had a couple of their normal starters back for that game, their championship game, and were able to win that one. And some of the players, of course, who play in Arena, familiar with those leagues as well. Sadiq Nathaniel plays for the Green Wave of the TFL outdoors, and he's on the Bearcats roster. A lot of familiar faces we begin to see spread out through these leagues.
And not too far down the line, about maybe 2 months away, actually less than that now, closer to 6 weeks, we're back covering the EFA in mid-August. Ahead of that, of course, we have the AAL2 Championship and the Little League World Series Mid-Atlantic qualifying round hosted on Staten Island.
Absolutely, here on 1st down and 5. In the middle of the field, that one was low and broken up on top of that by Kareem Williams. 2nd down and 5 coming up.
This Lions offense completing their first 2 passes of the game in the second half.
Really haven't been able to get anything down the field, though, Joe. I mean, that just hasn't happened. And, of course, the 3 interceptions as well.
They've gone back to Corey Wallace at quarterback. I thought I saw Savon Stokes working on his pads before. I wasn't sure if he was taking his pads off. He had one of the trainers assisting him on the bench. But Wallace back in the game at quarterback.
Indeed he is. That's a nice tight spiral, and the pass completed near the 10-yard line, just outside the 10. That ball came out a little bit late, but the play whistled down, as making the catch was Corey Coppin. It's really their first downfield completion of the game. They've had a couple of short passes.
As many chances as Georgia-Lina has had in this game to complete passes, I said it before, those opportunities have all come in very tight windows. And that was another one right there. Good ball from Wallace.
So the Bearcats looking to preserve a shutout here with over 11 minutes to go. Lions looking to put a dent into that, and that pass just off the fingertips of Joshua Vaughn. That should have been 6.
Fingertips again, Dave. Just fingertips away from a score. We've seen that no less than 4 times in this game.
Yeah, and certainly when Georgia-Lina goes back and watches this game, they're going to hear you say it often, Joe, and you're 100% right. They have just been a couple of fingertips away from making this a game early and now late trying to get on that scoreboard. That's another one that they probably should have had.
This could very easily be a 2-possession game at this point. Certainly could be.
Yeah. Instead, 2nd and 10 from the 12-yard line. Again, the Lions can get a first down without scoring. And they go in the flat, and the catch is made by Worthen. Worthen scampering, looking to get in, and he does for the touchdown.
How about those moves by Worthen? Hasn't had much blocking on kick returns. He had great blocking on that screen pass. Slot receiver did his job, picking up the first block, and then Worthen did the rest. He made 3 defenders miss.
Yeah, just a great job of just cutting and cutting and cutting again. There's the first, there's the second, and then there's the third, and where he sheds Simmons on the play. And they get on the board. It's 40-6 with a chance here for a 2-point conversion, and that's got to feel good for the Lions. Of course, traveling up from the Georgia and Carolina area, coming into Jersey, putting up their first score here in the 4th.
That's a long trip, Dave.
Absolutely it is. That one in the back of the end zone, overthrown. 2-point conversion unsuccessful. And the score remained 40-6. Joe, you had mentioned some of the games that are upcoming. Why don't we take a look at our upcoming schedule and talk to you a little bit about what's going on at the end of July. You'll know something will look familiar here as 2 weeks from tonight, of course, the American Arena League Football Championship is on July 8th. Time, of course, to be determined. And, Joe, tell us a little bit about the World Series we'll be covering.
So on Staten Island, we have Great Kills Little League and South Shore Little League. Those 2 venues will be hosting qualifying round games for the Mid-Atlantic region. That region qualifies teams for the Little League World Series, of course, played in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. That will be 5 days of coverage here on the PDF Sports Network. Games on day 1, day 2, day 4, and day 5. We have a home run derby and skills competition on day 3 along with a barbecue. So If you're on Staten Island, you can come check it out in person. If not, of course, you can tune in live here on the PDF Sports Network. Plenty of coverage upcoming in the month of July, and then soon after that Little League World Series qualifier, we resume coverage of the Elite Football Alliance in mid-August.
Yeah, absolutely, and obviously we'll have a lot more information on that Little League tournament on our website, pdfsportsnet.com, and of course on our social media handles. You can find us at PDF Sportsnet and PDF Sports Network on Instagram. And we'll have, of course, a breakdown of the teams that are involved that week. And on those initial days of the Little League World Series, Joe, we'll have 2 games in the morning and 2 games in the evening at 2 different venues all day. Little League Baseball on those days. So definitely a treat after football season. Give us a little bit of a break before we get started again. Spinning kick, dances in on Ward, who backtracks at about the 10, makes a move at the 15, and is stood up there. Kyle Ward's had a pretty quiet night here, Joe, as Bearcats got a lot of extra players into the game offensively. And, of course, the Lions not opting to onside kick or anything like that, as they elect to kick it normally.
You know, I thought perhaps maybe they were trying to kick that off of a Bearcat. Maybe. Didn't work. But they did kick it very low to the turf.
Some extracurriculars after the play, but looks like the ball will be spotted ultimately at about the 17-yard line. Bearcats had 26 points at the half. They have 14 here in half number 2. They scored pretty much with the clock stopped in the third quarter. Savridis scored his first touchdown, a 9-yard touchdown pass. Before that, Dante Owens scored for the third time, a 34-yard touchdown pass from Cologne, who's got 4 total today. Clock continues to move. I think A.J. Roque was questioning that, as the clock now is told to stop.
Everyone else seemed okay with it. Just saying.
As did we. And certainly we'll be chatting with A.J. Roque during the week to figure out what the clock situation will be 2 weeks from now, as we've normally had running clock. Ward is in motion. Cologne scampers to his right. He throws across the field, but incomplete to Savridis. There is a flag down as perhaps a late hit by Deal on Cologne. Cologne took a little bit of an exception to that. I don't know if we caught that on replay or not, but looked like he was spilled into the boards and everybody kind of knew it.
There are a lot of bodies gathered in the bench area for both teams, so what occurs very close to the near sideline, sometimes hard to pick up on replay. But you have to wonder, and I know we aren't going to see it, or at least it's very unlikely we would. First question, do the Bearcats have a backup quarterback? I believe they do, at least on the roster. And second, up by 34 with 8 minutes to go, do you perhaps take Cologne out to avoid hits like that?
Yeah, that's very interesting. I mean, I think if you're Stephen Cologne, you're going to be taking exception to that and giving AJ a really hard time.
Nobody wants to come out.
Absolutely.
Nobody wants to come out.
Absolutely. Ward will be in motion again here on what is a 1st and 5. They go up top. They want the home run, and that one just overthrown in the direction of Ward. The coverage was pretty good.
Coverage was good on that play. Once again, Keldrick Wright in the area on that play, and that ball was thrown about as well as you can if you're Stephen Cologne. There wasn't much room to put it over the top of Wright, but he did lead Ward to the inside a step, and that was the only window to throw that football. Maybe there was some room ahead of him, a foot or two, though that would have led his receiver straight into the boards.
So it will be a 2nd down and 5. Long conversation here, as you see on your screen, between Cologne and A.J. Roque. Should mention Coach Ja Valentine, the defensive coordinator, doing a spectacular job as well in this game for the Bearcats, giving up just the touchdown here in the 4th quarter. Did check the roster, and you're right, Joe. Will Robinson, of course, is the backup quarterback who we've seen, but I haven't seen in this game. And I was looking down the boards and didn't see the number. At least it escaped me. Cologne's going to get sandwiched in the pocket, almost lost the ball, but stays with it, gets back to the line of scrimmage, 3rd and 5.
They did a good job to cover up the ball on the way down because that looked like it was going to be stripped away from the Bearcats quarterback. Instead, he was able to trap it against his body or his thigh and hold on to it. And you'll see a second look at it again on this replay. And the Lions have done a pretty good job collapsing the pocket around Cologne on more than one occasion in this game. Things haven't come very easily for the Bearcats offense. Some of that has been self-imposed, as we've seen on the muffed snaps and the botched snaps. But other than that, the Lions have done some good things defensively. They just haven't had the offense to back it up in this game.
No, and you hit the nail on the head, Joe, in the pregame when you said you really got to pay attention to taking away the deep ball. And I think the Lions really have done that. They gave up the one deep touchdown tonight, but the Bearcats just haven't had that as an option. And give them credit. They've been able to take advantage of some things underneath, but Lions have focused on that, and they've stopped it for the most part. Coming on 5 minutes to go. Ward makes one man miss in the backfield, is off to the races, makes the second man miss, and was a shoestring away from breaking that all the way to the end zone, but it will be a first down inside the 15.
That was a touchdown-saving tackle by Deal along the boards. Was able to trip up Ward.
The ball spotted right at the 15. Good job as, once again, the chance in the backfield, but Ward very slippery. We've seen that many times from him. And falls forward to the 15. New set of downs for the Bearcats. Cologne and Ward getting on the same page. Now Ward goes in motion. The snap is a good one. And looking in the corner of the end zone, but that one once again hits the top netting. It'll be second down.
Well, I spoke about it very quickly during the pregame. In the first game of the season, the Stampede held the Bearcats to a season-low 32 points. Right now, the Bearcats are sitting at 40. They could very easily score again, but if they don't, and you're the Lions, you can't be too upset with this defensive effort allowing 40 points in this game. The Bearcats score a lot, and to hold them to 40 isn't all too bad. In all likelihood, we knew that wouldn't be good enough, but that is certainly by no means a bad effort for this defense.
No,
teams have allowed far more points to Jersey.
Right. And if they were the type of team that can trade shots back and forth or trade scores back and forth, it's a whole different story because they have gotten some stops. Second down and 10. Once again, Ward in motion. Are they going back to that play? No, this time they go the other way. Ward makes the catch and is in for the touchdown.
Well, I can tell you this, Dave. Ward was running that same route on the previous snap. That deep crossing route has given the Lions some problems in this game. They've tried to contain the Bearcats' passing game vertically, but those deep crosses have been open. The coverage has been tight, but there has been a step or two for the receiver on most plays, and that time Cologne put the ball right on target.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cologne has missed on some throws tonight, but on some of these touchdown passes, he has been spot on. And that was a perfect throw. Ward, the only guy with a chance to catch it. He made an easy grab, and it's 46-6. And Storego looking to put the team up by 41. And that one is good. Right through the uprights. 47-6 is our score. With 2:30
47
remaining.
Gives Jersey 47.
Yeah.
And that might be the last time we see the Jersey offense in this one, at least the last time we see them trying to score. Now, I know that's a very bold statement on my part, but you have to think that you want to take things carefully late in this game, not risk anything ahead of a championship matchup with the Steel City Stampede, and we are headed to Pennsylvania in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Alongside the Bearcats, it appears, as Jersey will take the win in this semifinal matchup. It will be our final game of the season here at Waranenko.
Yep, so Stampede will go into their game with a record of 8-0 on the season, having played one less game than the Bearcats. The Bearcats will go in 8-1, both teams on an 8-game winning streak, and for all we talk about the Bearcats, Joe, you can't take anything away from the Steel City Stampede. Remember when we talked with their head coach, Matt Santiago, before that opening game, he said that they had just gotten that team together. It had only been like 3 weeks that the team was, put together last minute. The AAL2 wanted a last team. They called on Coach Santiago. They kind of banded together. They only had a few practices under their belt. Look at all that they've accomplished in their first season.
Like Jersey, 8 straight wins. Unbeaten this season. You can't do any better than that.
Something will give 2 weeks from tonight as the Lions are able to take that one up over the 15-yard line. Only thing in doubt in this one is our final score. And the Bearcats and the Stampede will be meeting in AAL2 Bowl 1, if you call it. I don't know exactly what they'll call it.
What do we call it? Perhaps we can be the ones.
Maybe.
To come up with the moniker for that championship game. Is it the American Arena Bowl?
I don't know if you could do that with the two. You know?
I know you can't say Super Bowl unless it is directly affiliated with the NFL.
Now we're going to get sued by the NFL.
They have to say the big game.
The big game, right. Yep. Well, either way, we will have a start time for you again via our website, via the Jersey Bearcats social media, the Steel City Stampede as well. I'm sure we'll be posting the time of that game. And, you know, listen, we would love for you to watch the game here on PDF Sports Network, but if you can make it down to watch that game in person, these games are electric. They're a lot of fun. The fans really get into it. There's some great entertainment that goes on pregame and halftime. So definitely a chance to grab the kids and come on out to the arena and support these young men in person. Lions, with just under 2 minutes to play, looking to put another dent in the scoreboard here. Wallace, who threw the first touchdown pass, looks in the flat and finds his receiver, and making a couple of guys miss was Vaughn. Out up over to the 19-yard line. Minimal gain, about 4 yards on the play.
He's been a very physical ball carrier in this game. Once he's gotten his hands on the football, he's been bruising some of those Bearcats defenders. A lot of big collisions, and Vaughn's been involved in 1 or 2 of those.
Give it up to Corey Wallace, the quarterback, who injured his right hand, and now it's heavily wrapped. He played a little bit at wide receiver, didn't really make an impact there, but really didn't miss too many snaps, and now back in at quarterback. Threw the lone touchdown pass for the Lions in this game. Georgia-Lina with a modified schedule this season. They played a couple teams that were not in the AAL2 this year. From under center, the throw once again to Vaughn over midfield. First down at the 20-yard line, but a couple of players locked up. They'll need to get separated. Joe, the Lions matchups against the Albany Empire. Another team, I forget, escapes me, but of course playing
Cali Gold.
Cali Gold, correct. And they had another game, I think, that was canceled on them, or that they lost actually to another team called the Cats. I forgot what their name was, but because they play such a deep, so deep in the South, in Georgia, of course, they line up teams that have played in their area, and those games count in the standings, and you never know, those teams might opt to be a part of the AAL2 next year, should those teams, of course, get themselves sorted out. Same thing with the Houston Maulers, who were a part of the AAL2 as an associate member. Of course, they forfeited a couple of games, so we'll see what happens in their future. Wallace back to pass, good pocket, gets it out over to Coppin. Coppin gets popped, but he's inside the 10, and looks like enough to move the sticks. It'll be 1st and goal.
Now, granted, it's very late in this game, Dave, but it's just a different game at the quarterback position when you're throwing out of a clean pocket that's not collapsing. And early in the game, we saw the Lions look to move the pocket on offense. Late in this game, on this drive in particular, they've given Wallace good protection. And you see the result of that right there. A completed pass over the middle, right on target. And a chance here for Georgia-Lina to score for a second time.
Clock is running now as we reach 20 seconds to go. Middle of the field, there is a touchdown for Coppin. He was alone, or got lost in the middle of things. Got away from Kareem Williams, the defender, and with 16.6 to go, it's 47-12.
And that's a look we've seen from Georgia-Lina multiple times in this game, and it's been Coppin running that stick route over the middle, breaks up the field, then turns his hips toward the inside, sits down in the middle of that Jersey defense, as you'll see here on the replay, and there is nobody within 5 yards of him. Big opening on the second level of that Jersey defense, and granted, once again, very late in this game, and you don't want to take any chances with injury or anything of the sort. But that was very easy for Georgia-Lina.
No. There's a pass for the 2-point conversion. That's completed to Stokes. Nice grab by Stokes to elevate and get that one into his midsection. 47-14 will be our score with a precious few seconds remaining in this one. But give credit to the Georgia-Lina Lions, Joe. You know, they were obviously getting routed at the end of 3 quarters, 40-0, but they never stopped. They never quit. Came down here with a purpose. They are, too, a developing team. They put up 14 points in the fourth quarter. Gives them something to feel good about.
No question about it, Dave. And I've done the drive from New York all the way down to Georgia via car. That is a brutal trip, especially if you do it all in one day.
Right.
That is a brutal drive. And I'm sure they took a bus down and obviously weren't driving it themselves, but that's still a very long trip. And you said they got in last night?
Last night. They spent the evening here, and I don't know about tonight whether or not they will be.
Stephen Cologne's got the headset on.
Oh, all right.
He's early.
To y'all.
All right.
I was enjoying listening to y'all.
We got you mic'd up. This is the first time we get a live game going on, and somebody on the bench talking to us. Steph, you got to like this one. I see a big smile on your face. 47-14 feels nice to take care of business here in the playoffs.
Man, listen, we've been off a whole month, man. We had 2 forfeits, and we've been, you know, like when you get after each other so much, you like fighting each other and practice and all that stuff. We kind of got to that point. So we was looking excited. We was looking forward to getting back in and play another Jersey. And as you can see how excited we are, we still wish we had about 4 more quarters there, but we know everybody got to go home.
Sure. And I don't know what your coach had to say to you, but I don't know about with the score 40-0, you coming out of the pocket and taking some hits.
You can imagine what he said, right? You can imagine what he said. He actually told me, look at the scoreboard.
Right.
Like, it's all right to throw the ball away and slide.
Exactly. Throw that one away. Yeah. Live to see another down.
Right.
Did he tell you where you're playing next week?
Yeah, Stampede won today, so we got to go ahead and go out there and play them out there. So we're looking forward to that exciting game as we close this one out here. I don't know if I got to go back in. Hopefully he runs this back.
That would take care of that. Palmer still dancing, and he gets down about the 10-yard line. Clock is running, but now it stops at 4.2. That'll do it for Cologne as he is going to go back out there.
Snap.
And, Joe, if I know the Bearcats, they're going to throw this one, and they might throw it deep.
I think you're right.
They don't apologize for who they are, and what they are is a downfield throwing team. And and the actual kids who are by the glass are all asking Steph Cologne to throw a Hail Mary. So they actually called the play for him.
I'll tell you,
we'll see
I
if
wouldn't.
He gets overruled.
The kids think they're getting a Hail Mary now. Now, was he offering AJ the helmet to come in?
I don't know, but maybe Cologne is relaying the play call to his coach, AJ Rogue. Listen, when you're up by 33 points with 4 seconds to go, it's always nice. Your final home game, have a little bit of fun. We'll see what they draw up here. But either way, Joe, a war in 2 weeks no matter what.
You know what happens when you're up by 30 points with 4 seconds remaining? You kneel. Though the clock would stop.
Yes.
You can't kneel in arena.
That's true. That's a very good point. And I remember the first game we ever covered, we said, well, it's time for victory formation.
Yeah.
And then the other team threw 3 bombs in a row trying to increase the score.
Looks like Stephen Cologne's laughing in the offensive backfield.
4.2 to go. This should be the last play of the game. Cologne taking it. Now he laterals it back. That'll count as a fumble and a fumble recovery for the Lions. But that'll do it. 47-14. Joe will have to decide on a player of the game. Fans love it here. The Jersey Bearcats have punched their ticket to the AAL2 championship in 2 weeks.
Well, Dave, it's the matchup that we've been waiting to see all season long. As we do have to decide on a player of the game now. Could be Stephen Cologne, who we did have already. Could be Dante Owens. So we'll have to make that decision in the next few seconds.
Yep.
But nonetheless, Dave, the matchup we've been waiting for all season long. We get to see this Jersey Bearcats team travel on the road for the first time this season in a game we've covered for a rematch with the Steel City Stampede.
Yeah, and we were saying amongst ourselves, wouldn't it have been great if those 2 teams played twice in the regular season like some of the others? Well, now we'll get that chance. The 2 best teams all regular season long now match up during the postseason. Should be a great one in 2 weeks. We're going to find ourselves a player of the game, and then we will throw it down to them when we get them on. So
Andrew's on the case.
Andrew is on the case. He has done this before, so he knows all about it. But you know what, Joe? For what it's worth, we saw the Bearcats drop their first game of the season, but here at Warananko, we've been treated to 3 other games where they look like the much more dominant team, the much polished team. And Joe, what's great about things when you think about it is this is still a developing team in its own right. You know, the Jersey Bearcats, it's the first time they put the uniforms on in 2 years, and 2 years ago was COVID, so that interrupted a lot of things. So for a team that's still also finding itself, man, they put up some pretty good, impressive performances this year.
And Dave, we've said it all season long. The lone blemish on this team's schedule, just a few minutes at the end of that Week 1 game, they have been dominant in just about all of the football we've seen them play since. They really haven't been knocked back onto their heels at all for most of all the games we've covered. They have been leading by 2 possessions. The outcome of most of those games never really in question, and now the Jersey Bearcats are championship bound.
All right, Joe, before we get our player of the game on.
You got a player of the game right now. Can you hear me?
We got
if
Coach.
You got a player of the game, it's definitely 2-6.
Devin Blutcher was definitely one of our guys.
The game plan was for him today, and he definitely excelled.
Coach Ja, how proud are you of your team now you're going to a championship?
Oh, I'm proud. I said it right when I walked through the door. I said, hey, it's championship or nothing. Championship or bust. And we are excited. Now we got to get everybody to practice.
And you're almost there.
You know, those 14 points we gave up, those are mistakes of not coming to practice. Second team not coming to practice.
14 too many for the defensive coordinator. That's how he works. He wants the 0. Coach, if you can find Devin for us, let's get him on.
Got you.
All right. So we will hear from Devin in just a few. Hey, when the coach says he's the player of the game, he's at least one of our players of the game, and we'll get 2 of them.
We have an
on
offense
there
and a defense,
well.
obviously.
We will have an offensive and a defensive MVP.
Now, I thought they were about to give a Gatorade bath there.
I sure did. And
the life of our headset flashed before my eyes.
So we will get them on the air. Oh, there he is. He's coming now. Mr. Devin Blutcher is... Devin, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, Devin Blutcher is one of our players of the game today on the defensive side of the ball. What a defensive performance, Dev. First of all, for you, 2 interceptions, but as a group, you guys really didn't let the Lions do anything tonight.
Yeah, that was the game plan. We came in here focused. We wanted to shut these guys out, get them out early.
And tell me a little bit about the play against the pass. You know, you knock out their quarterback during a stretch in this game, led to some kind of easy picks for you guys back there, and you were able to get 2 of them. What'd you see on those plays?
I seen that high motion man with trying to beat us over the middle a lot, and that's our strength. So we was just attacking the ball. We was flying, making plays. That's what our defense does.
We spoke to Keemon Coleman during pregame. He said he wanted to hold this Lions team to 0. You did that for 3 quarters.
Yes,
what do you need to do next week to make sure you shut down the Stampede?
And we're going to do the same thing we did tonight, man. We just made some errors at the end of the game. It won't happen again next week, I promise you. We owe them boys a whooping, man. They beat us the last time they came in our house. We're going to go down there and give them what they want.
All right, best of luck in the championship game next week. Thanks for coming on. Our East Coast Trophies and Awards Player of the Game.
All right, thank you.
Devon Blutcher.
Thanks for joining us, Devon.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, and we will get our second player of the game on with us shortly.
Will we? Because we can't find
him. Andrew lost him. All right, well, maybe we did lose him. Coach Corey is going to join us.
Coach Corey's waiting to join us.
Coach Corey's waiting to join us.
Politely standing next to
What's
the
happening, fellas?
Coach Corey.
I haven't seen you guys in like 3 months, it feels like.
We have a player of the game graphic for you, too. Look at that.
Player of the game, look at that. I killed it. Yeah, someone said good play calls. I didn't make a play call all game, so really doing well.
Well, listen, top to bottom, a great performance. The offense clicked early, especially, got you guys a big lead. Defense did its job. Special teams was on point. Tell me a little bit about the performance of the team tonight.
I tell you one thing, man. I got 2 guys on my kickoff return team. I got Ethan and I got Stevie. They're my lunch pail guys. They show up every day. They never complain. They punch that time clock and they come to work. And they are literally the glue on special teams. There was a few times that Stevie was flying down the field and he made him cut back and bam, right into another tackler. Without Stevie out there, we wouldn't have had as much success.
Well, in the end zone, we saw Ethan dancing. He was really bringing some energy, then got a sack on defense.
Oh,
that unit
man.
doing it all.
The world's smallest linebacker I've ever seen. I think they got some midget football players at linebacker a little bigger than him. But, yeah, that's my guy, man. I really pushed hard for A.J. to sign him because he's all heart. And that kid brings it every single play. There was a couple times in practice that he went head up with Nas, and I'm just like, yo, we got to get this guy out here. We got to get him more PT. And it seemed to work out great.
Hey, Corey, this sets up now a collision course with the Stampede. You guys have been kind of 1-2 all season long, two separate 8-game win streaks now. Something's got to give two Saturdays from now. What's it going to be?
I know a lot of those guys personally. A lot of those guys I coached on the Reading Raptors. So it was like bittersweet, week one, because it was great to see them celebrating with success. But at the same time, it really stung, to be honest with you. I've been thinking about it a lot. And I'm at the point where I've been preaching to these guys all year. I said a football season is a lot like a boxing match. You got rounds. It's okay to lose a round, but you got to win the championship rounds. I gave a little bit of a speech right before the game, and I said we are now 2 rounds down. We have to win these next 2 rounds to become champions. Mm-hmm. And that's the ultimate goal. That's the reason I drive almost 3 hours to get here. That's to get a championship I'm really, really, really blessed that we got these guys. Because week one, we honestly could have fell apart. We lost our DC. And it just, they strung together. They kept going. I don't think we were down once the entire season.
Yeah, we were going to mention that as well. This team really hasn't played from behind ever, really, with the exception of that last play. That was really the only time you guys have ever been down on the scoreboard. And, Coach K, 2 weeks now between tonight's game and the championship. What does this team, have to do in terms of practice and making sure you stay connected and locked in, but also get enough downtime and get yourself ready for the game?
I normally tell the guys, take Sunday off, enjoy the Saturday. Enjoy the Saturday night, take Sunday off. We got the 2-hour rule going from here on out. We get to enjoy this win for 2 hours, and then we're back on the clock. It just comes down to that. We got to play smart championship-level football, play Bearcats football, let Steph make the right reads, let that O-line dominate, let the D-line dominate, and honestly, it's going to be one heck of a game, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Coach Corey, thank you for joining us again for your breakdown. Good luck in 2 weeks.
We got to get a graphic for the wrap-up with Coach K. I'm going to get my guy on that.
We'll have that for you ahead of the championship. So hopefully you win and we get you on. I promise we'll have one.
Just Photoshop my face on a Sheets bagel or something. We'll figure it out.
All right.
Have a good night. Get home safe, fellas.
Thank you. All right, and we will turn it over now to our second player of the game. Our offensive player of the game is wide receiver Dante Owens will join us now on headset. There's his graphic. He is our offensive player of the game. Dante, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Very good, and great game for you tonight. 3 touchdowns. And, tell me a little bit about the mindset of the offense coming in. And you guys really started on fire. How important was that big start?
Yeah, that was a real important. The key was to come in the game today and just play fast and physical. So, yeah, that was the main thing, playing fast and physical and just making everybody pay.
Yeah, and Dante, especially on some of those catches that you had, it's about making the catch and then making guys miss.
Yes, sir.
That's obviously a big part of your game, and getting that downfield blocking as well. What can you say about those guys really providing those open spaces for you?
When the ball's in the air, I'm just thinking about keeping my eyes locked on the ball. Also, shout out to the other receivers for opening up and exposing the spacing for us.
Yeah, and Dante, the other thing, too, is this team likes to go over top, really hit that home run ball. But you guys tonight really work the sidelines a lot, too. You work the middle of the field. This team is multidimensional in that way. How big is that for you guys when you go up against the Stampede in 2 weeks?
It's going to be very big because we got many receivers that make plays in space. So we're hard to tackle. We're slippery. So I think going into next week, we're going to be real efficient. We're going to make a lot of plays.
Seems like everybody's saying the same thing, Dante, that you guys want another shot at Steel City. You wanted them to win tonight. Obviously, you want to redeem yourselves for that first week's loss. What are you most looking forward to for that game 2 weeks from tonight?
Making them pay. Making them pay. That's it. We're not going to say too much. Just you got to come out there and make them pay. Execute.
All right, Dante. We're going to hold you to that, and so will the Bearcats fans. Thanks for joining us. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Dante Owens, our offensive player of the game. Joe, he was dynamite. And, Joe, especially like you predicted during the pregame early in the game, Jersey really exercised their power. They made a statement early on, and Dante was a big part of it.
No question about it, Dave, as we have Yet another guest headed for the headset, I thought, for a moment, though.
I guess so.
Well, looks like we do. Take it away, Dave.
He said, I guess so.
I thought you guys got tired of me already.
No. We never get tired of you. Steph, listen, you are the starting quarterback for this team. You know, you're the kind of life force that starts the plays. How proud are you of how the offense has developed all season long?
Man, offense, how can I say, we had all young linemen here. So we started off kind of slow, and the growth each week, the commitment and the growth each week been so major and so rapid, I guess I can say. So I'm just real proud of, like, the whole team, like offense and defensive line. If we got to talk about line play, the offense and defensive line have improved so much week by week, and you know, like, they give us the best chance to win and do what we got to do. So I want to give big shout-outs to all the O linemen and D linemen, and just hopefully we can keep it up for one more game.
Steph, take 2 steps back if you can, because we want to see your face here on PDF Sportsnet as well. Steph, you know, you mentioned the defensive linemen as well. The defense was spectacular tonight. A shutout through 3 quarters really gave you guys on offense, you know, a chance to really be, really have a lot of the pressure off. What can you say about how great the defense is playing recently?
I mean, 14 points in arena football is huge. That's huge. So we had a shutout for 3 quarters. So I was just really excited that the defensive line, like, it's okay for the whole defense to play good. Like, the DBs catch interceptions, the linebackers make big tackles. But we rushing 3 people and getting pressure, and that's very hard to do in this game right here. So Javon, Joey, you know, all those guys up front that are going after Shea Davis, you know, they're all getting after it in practice, in the game, and then it's just showing now. Like, it's starting to show how if you have a good D lineman, you know, you're a little bit more, it's more easier for you to be successful.
Steph, last question. I know we would have all loved to have come back here to play the game in Jersey in 2 weeks.
Right?
But everybody just keeps saying we really wanted the Stampede to win their game because you wanted another shot at them. They're the ones who gave you your only loss. How important was it for you to get them back and to be playing against them 2 weeks from tonight?
Listen, I told you earlier when you asked me, like, where are you going? Like, they came in here and spoiled our perfect season. So shout out to them for how they did it. But we finally get a chance to go back and you know, like, just everybody always wants to get back. So it feels good to say, yeah, we're going to go get back. But we got to put the work in now. Like, they're a pretty good team. Obviously, if they beat us, they're undefeated. They won big today. Like, it's not just a walk in the park. So as much as, like, yeah, we want to play them, we got to come ready to play when we play that good team. But definitely excited that we're playing them. You know, we don't want anyone to go undefeated. And if that happens, we'll get back to being first place the way we want to be.
Steph, thanks for joining us, and enjoy those kids down there.
Hey, one more shout-out. I just want to give a big shout-out to you 3 guys, man. Your growth from when I met you guys to now, like, football, I wouldn't say y'all didn't do football, but I know football wasn't you guys' main thing. But the growth that you guys are doing and picking up different games with arena and 11 outdoor football, man, you got to give your guys a pat on the back. I just want to give you guys a shout-out. We thank you for broadcasting us and just making sure this season has been great for all the young guys and myself, man. I thank you so much, you 3 guys.
That means a lot to us, Steph. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. See you in 2 weeks.
Steph Cologne, starting quarterback of the Jersey Bearcats, always a class act and always a lot of fun to talk to, Joe. And, you know, top to bottom, we're going to miss being here in 2 weeks, Joe. We would have loved to have covered the game here, but we've got a really great one coming up in 2 weeks.
No question about it. I've said it several times already, Dave. It's the game that we as a crew have wanted to see again since week 1. I think it's fair to say that game was probably the most entertaining of the season. No question about it, the most entertaining game of our season. The only game decided by 1 score. It was decided in the closing seconds. You can't ask for much more than that out of an arena football game, a back-and-forth game, and you know the Bearcats wanted a chance to avenge that defeat. They get that chance in 2 weeks as they travel on the road to take on the Steel City Stampede in the AAL2 Championship.
Absolutely. So that's where we will be 2 weeks from tonight. That is our next broadcast. Now, we do not have a start time yet, 2 weeks, but of course, we ask that you consult with our social media pages, that you consult with the AAL2 social media pages, of course, the Steel City Stampede. They do a great job on their Facebook page and social media, of course, keeping fans entertained and, of course, up to date on what's going on there. We will be there. Whether we go live to tape, we will be there, and we hope that we will be there live for you. That's our next broadcast, and of course, coming up in late July, if you're a baseball fan of Little League Baseball, the road to Williamsport starts in Staten Island, New York, and PDF Sports Network will be there. 15 games over 5 days. Championship, and the winner moving to the Mid-Atlantic Championship to determine who moves on to the Little League World Series. For everybody associated with our broadcast tonight, Andrew Rotundo, our engineer, Louis Matrone, our camera operator, for Joe Foreman, I'm Dave Pizzuto, wishing you a very good rest of the evening. Once again, your final score here, 47-14 in favor of the Bearcats. They will play in the AAL2 Championship 2 weeks from tonight against the Steel City Stampede. Thanks for joining us, everyone.